6 o'clock. Good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Carolina Hurricanes shut out the Montreal Canadiens 4-0 in Game 4, take a 3-1 series lead in the Eastern Conference Finals. The Hurricanes one win away now from their first trip to the Stanley Cup Finals since 2006 when they beat Edmonton in 7 games to win the Cup. Game 5 back in Raleigh tomorrow night. Tonight, NBA Western Conference Finals Game 6 in San Antonio between the Thunder and Spurs. The Thunder lead the series 3-2 and the chance to return to the NBA Finals in consecutive seasons. Tip-off tonight is at 7:30 on NBC. In Titans news yesterday, the team announced that they've signed first-round pick Keldrick Falk to his rookie contract. Their edge rusher out of Auburn, selected 31st overall, was the last member of the Titans' 8 draft picks in 2026 to sign. And in college basketball news, Vanderbilt basketball point guard Tyler Tanner is officially headed back to college as he's withdrawing his name from the NBA draft. Announced last night, Tanner averaged 19.5 points and 5.1 assists per game last season for the Commodores. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Thursday morning on Ramon Will, off and running on 104.5 The Zone and 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. 615-737-1045, our number. A busy morning on the show today. The draft returns. We're drafting the biggest busts in sports. Bill Bender joins us talking college football at 8:20. Easton Freeze of A to Z Sports at 9:20. And Congress is putting its best foot forward to create meaningful change in college sports. Best foot, still not a great foot, but it is a better foot than what has been put forward in the past. We'll lead off hour one with that coming up here in 20 minutes. Your comments at the F&M Bank chat, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch for Titans Radio NFL analyst Ramon Foster. Justin Hawkins, our producer. Myself, Will Bowling, at Ramona Will on Twitter on Friday, Junior, May the 28th. Good morning. How are we doing?
We're good, man. Good, bright Thursday morning, man.
One of those days I had to check and make sure I wasn't late about 3 or 4 times on my clock on the way in because it looks like it's 7 or 8 a.m.
It does. I was messing with Hawk earlier before you walked in the studio. When you went and got some coffee, I was just like, if you went to bed yesterday about 7:30, 7:45, you woke up this morning saying, is it the same day? Like, it's that type of bright outside right now. At about 7 in the evening and 5 o'clock in the morning, it is bright as ever. But I like it, man. We had a nice, beautiful day yesterday. Got some stuff done. Went to Titans practice yesterday, man. Saw some good stuff yesterday. It was a closed practice, so a lot of what I saw cannot be reported, but legitimately.
Or also none.
Or none, yeah. None of what I saw can be reported. Thank you, sir. I knew that. The new normal. But it was cool, man, being able to be around. We shot an OTP that ended up being released too at some point myself. Taylor Zarza and also Brad. It's super cool. I got to be honest with you. Brad Hopkins. Yep. Yeah, Hoppy. It's kind of cool walking around with him, bouncing football conversations back and forth, and Taylor being right there backing up what we see and stuff like that. So it was real good vibes yesterday at Titans practice. And I pointed out something to him, too. It was beautiful, cumulus clouds yesterday, man. The big, pillow-looking clouds everywhere, spaced all across the Nashville metro. Not a single one over the practice field. Do you hear me? My forehead got tanned so well, I might end up peeling in a couple of days, man. The football gods never, ever give you shade is what I was just looking at. Give you shade.
Okay.
Was it like that in cross country from time to time, or were y'all like morning runners with this type of stuff?
This time of year, we were in the morning.
In the morning? Yeah. It's just that.
Usually 7 a.m. practices, so it would be up by now, too.
There's just never any shade over like a practice field. Never. I don't care which sport it is. It could be flag football. It could be soccer. It could be almost baseball. Like, there's never any shade over a practice field, man. But, hey, that's what the money's for, right? Well, no. That's what the love is for. You love the game.
Why not both? Why not both?
Well, we can now, looking at college. heck, before long, are there high schoolers getting paid too with everything that's going on?
There have been for a couple of years now.
Yeah, what a mess, man. I don't know if I've ever seen this amount of information come out about an SEC, about the SEC, about college football. It's at this point, it feels like a friggin' civil war about college sports.
We are in a period of transformational change in college athletics. We're going to dive into all the details coming up in 15 minutes. Did a lot of reading, a lot of listening, a lot of learning yesterday. We tried to become experts on this topic, and the congressional stuff that came out yesterday, I think is fascinating. I also think none of it's going to happen at this current point. But we'll talk about that coming up here in 15 minutes. Practically, though, just in terms of on the field, or in this case, the court, in terms of change that's going to happen and a player that'll get paid. One big headline yesterday, maybe the biggest headline here locally, Tyler Tanner is headed back to Vanderbilt for his junior season with the Commodores. The star sophomore last year, who is a Nashville native, made a massive jump from his freshman season where he averaged 5.5 points per game. As a sophomore, led Vanderbilt with 19.5 points per game, adding 5.1 assists and 2.4 steals per contest, which led the SEC, was projected as a likely second-round pick in the NBA draft. Will be back running point for Vanderbilt. Ramon, this is a significant development for another team that is going to be loaded on the hardwood moving forward into the 2026-2027 season. The SEC is legit, and Vanderbilt is right there in the mix again.
Yes, they are, man. They did a good job in the portal. I saw some of the fans being excited about that as well. Tyler Tanner's cherry on top. I think it's exciting. I will say that, like, watching him play basketball, you almost become a fan of him and his style. And it's not just because of his stature. It's just because, man, he plays with an attitude that you enjoy, that aggressiveness. And then you see him also have the ability to go finish and get a bucket, too. To your point, yes, the SEC is going to be hot this year. Vanderbilt, that's a great get back for you. I'm interested to see what the combine told Tyler Tanner that he needs to work on. Like, he can't work on height if that's a knock that he had. He can't work on that side of it, you know? Is it a better shot, which I thought was good this year? Is it finish above the rim, which he has capabilities and have done it before? Does he just need to hone a craft that makes him a great facilitator for the rest of his team, though, too? He doesn't, in my opinion, have a height limitation whatsoever. You see him play, you become a fan of him, and his ability to go at some of the best players in the world right now, or some of the best recruits that is in the SEC. He's put Vanderbilt in a very strong place, and that is a nice get back for them. I actually thought I thought the whole time he would come back to school.
It felt like it was trending this way for a long time.
He had to
not a surprising announcement yesterday.
No, not even a little bit. It's so yeah, kudos to Vanderbilt, man, keeping it tight. We'll see who leads lead the way over there now with basketball being solidified. What this football recruiting is going to look like, and also the women's basketball. Like, I think that might be top of the mind right now for Vanderbilt sports.
There are going to be so many teams with Final Four aspirations in the SEC next season. Obviously, Tennessee, according to 247, as the number 2 transfer recruiting class of the country, with the experience they bring back, with the balance and the depth that they have in the front court and the back court. I think Tennessee, along with Florida, probably put Texas in there as the team with the number 3 transfer class overall. Arkansas is going to be another one with an incredible high school recruiting class coming in. You probably start with those teams, and just considering the continuity, you probably have to start with Florida, with who they're bringing back next season. Then I'd probably go to Tennessee after that. And then you have a bunch of teams like Vanderbilt. Kentucky probably has a big move waiting, and Milan Momcilovic is another player that we've talked a lot about, the Iowa State player that Tennessee shut down in the Sweet 16, who is now looking at Kentucky as one of his options. I know Florida's been in the mix. Texas A&M has a top 10 recruiting class. Missouri has brought in a lot of good players within this thing, too. Vanderbilt, the number 21 transfer class. But again, the fact that you bring back Tyler Tanner, that's like adding a transfer. And if you added him into that mix, it's better than adding a transfer because he's played in your system before. Mm-hmm. If you put him in that class, you're then talking about a top 10 recruiting class in the country. So I think it's Truly Donovan, the account on Twitter, who is a big reporter or an insider, has a Discord where he gives nuggets and portal stuff.
Right.
Loves the phrase of like, sometimes the best additions are your own. And just bringing back your own. And that is a major, major deal for Mark Byington and Vanderbilt basketball.
I wonder, was there a deal in place for him already, too, as far as him coming back? I would expect so. Tyler,
what kind of deal?
NIL deal.
It'd have to be. Yeah, for sure.
And that, to me, again, he's been straight from Brentwood Academy, man, Tennessee kid, absolutely killing it. I think we all heard, since we can go ahead and, I guess, talk about the rumors now, we all heard that there was a potential that Tennessee was looking at Tyler Tanner, too. I would have loved if we could have sniped him. That was a rumor, at least. But he chose to stay loyal. That's rare in today's world of sports, especially when we've seen Jalen Carey do it or others do it. We've had Vols become Commodores, too. My point of it is, though, too, Vandy, love on him, man. He could have easily gone anywhere else potentially and gotten a bigger, I'm sure, bag. Probably it wouldn't shock me if Cal came after a guy like him, Calipari.
I'm sure he had his representation talking to a number of people who were talking to other schools.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is he never entered the portal. And so those conversations clearly never got far enough for him to have real discussions with schools and with coaching staffs as far as leaving Vanderbilt, because he never entered the portal.
I do wish, I wasn't even going to ask you this question, I do wish the NFL had positioning like this when it comes down to pre-draft workouts. Some guys just aren't ready yet. I do wish there was a tester market for potential NFL prospects to say, hey, let's see where you are. You a higher grade than we thought? Cool. Come out.
Why do you think that doesn't exist?
Just the big turnover that football has more than other sports. We're talking about the replacement of recruiting class that are 20 plus, almost 30 people at a time, and some coaches are just ready to get you out. The 3-year, I guess, maturity grace period that they give you is enough. I guess if you spend 3 years and you declare, then you're gone. I truly don't know that answer, but in my opinion, it probably has to do with football. Is we got a plan for the future type of thing, and we've already recruited your replacement, which happens in every sports. I just think there's more players to bring back, or how many players will stay back a year when they should be leaving.
If you think about it locally, Cam Ward sort of did that. There was reports that he wanted to come out a year prior.
Yeah.
He was going to be a mid to late draft pick. Ended up going to Miami, and then was the first overall pick. So he kind of did that. It's just not the same process.
The window's way shorter.
The timeline is just really different.
Way shorter.
Yes, for sure.
Because the NBA draft is, better part of a month away, month plus, 6 weeks.
Yeah. Think about Tyler. How long has the basketball season been over with? 2 months plus now?
This would be like withdrawing from the NFL draft in early March.
Yeah. And, that timeline's closed off. And he also went through entire NBA combines, too.
Yeah.
That's the other part. I don't know if there's anybody that's gone through an NFL combine that's went back to college. That's the unique part about this.
Is that because somebody can't or somebody just hasn't?
They can't. Once you declare in the NFL, you're out.
Deadline's different.
Yeah, once you declare, you're done in college football.
The NFL draft deadline to declare was January 14th. This past year. Players from Indiana and Miami had until January 23rd. So, there you go.
Yeah, big old difference right there. And that's months away from the actual draft and about a month away from the combine, too.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, Hawk. They actually got a chance to go through the combine.
That would be like having the NBA draft deadline be March 28th versus May 28th or May 30th. Yeah.
And maybe it was the era of the one and dones and the high school draft picks, too. Because a lot of kids got burned in that era, too, coming out of high school, got bad information, and they couldn't go to college at that era. So that's probably the adjustment.
It's going to be fun. College hoops in this state is in a really good place. Be a fun year. I saw some Tennessee fans talking about this just in general about their basketball team. And this is a tweet from Jordan Moore after a video of Tennessee basketball getting to campus and guys getting there, and it says summer's in session, and it's just guys working out and starting practice. This tweet says, I have never wanted to fast forward a football season so bad. Can Heupel just go ahead and get the 7-5 season over with?
Ooh.
Feels like that's kind of the vibe right now for a lot of Tennessee fans. As high of expectations as they're going to be for basketball to make a Final Four and maybe compete for a national championship, it's like, well,
do this.
Can we hit the fast forward button a little bit?
Don't do this, Vols fans.
Just one person's opinion, but a lot of people in the replies and in the comments and likes and retweets also feeling safe.
Is that going to be a show topic for us, or what if? We've kind of had that conversation.
I think it has been, right?
Yeah, we've had that conversation lightly, the 7 and 5.
615-737-1045, the number line for the 1045, the Zone Circus Sports Studio. Kentucky's largest sports book can now be found at Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs. Congress is getting involved in college sports. We'll tell you how they're putting their best foot forward to finally do something significant to change college athletics coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Good people, nobody likes dealing with a plumbing, HVAC, or electrical emergency. Not even a little bit. Most of the time, you don't know what cost you, because that's usually what comes first. Is like, how much is this going to cost me? If it'll get fixed right, or if somebody's just trying to sell you something you don't need. When you call Hiller, the experts are going to solve your problems quickly. And the price you tell is the price that you will actually pay. There are no hidden fees or surprises on your bill when you get it. At the end, they'll itemize everything that they've done inside of your house to show you the service charge, everything that's included, none of the extra stuff. They've been in business for over 35 years and are family owned and operated. Their techs, very professional, experienced, and trustworthy. And they're all background and drug screened as well. When they're on the way, you'll receive a photo of the tech and a link to track them in real time. We know what that means, man. You don't have to sit around wasting your time for somebody to show up or playing the guessing game. Absolutely not. They believe in 100% satisfaction guarantee of happy you'll be or the service is free. If you're not satisfied with it, they live by their motto, that service will be free. Listen, to learn more about them or book with them, head over to happyhiller.com.
Thursday morning on Ramon and Will. Bill Bender talks college football at 8:20. Easton Freeze joins the program at 9:20. And you can join us at 615-737-1045. Going to get into the Protect College Sports Act and how it could change college sports. But first, we go to the phone where Matt is in Shelbyville. What's up, Matt?
What's up, Matt? Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Ramon, I just had to call in and say congratulations on your new gig.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt.
I didn't talk to you before the news. But, I had a question now. With all the coaching changes, did the Tennessee Titans ever look to you for the offensive line coach? Because I think that you would have checked more boxes than the guys that they have right now. I mean, you figure that you were an undrafted person, make the roster every year, so you had to stay on that grind because everybody else that was drafted was probably looked over you, and you still beat them out. And then you played 11 years at a high level, so now you could have turned around and identified all of that talent and how that works. I just think you would have been the best candidate. But again, congratulations on where you're at.
Well, man, I appreciate that. I will say too that coaching world is very serious. The hours that they put in, the amount of time it takes to get to a point like this, man, I'll never disrespect that job like that or anybody that's in those roles, man. Like I'm a person, I like to watch the product of people before I judge them on it as well. And legitimately, I think they're in a good spot is what I would tell you. But coaching's never been one of my aspirations when it comes down to like post-football. I knew media was going to end up being my space. And here's the main reason though why too, Matt. Like I promised my family I would give them time back. And coaching would do the opposite of that. When I spent 11 years, most of my kids' early lives, like doing the thing that those offensive line coaches are doing, man. So, I'll pass on. I think Carmen Brasillo is going to end up being a nice addition for them. I think he's a guy for who they need, man. I appreciate that, but catch me on the freshman football team as an offensive line coach. I'll tell you how they're doing during the season if you're good with that, Matt, 'cause that's the only thing I'm coaching is freshman high school.
Yeah, simple answer is no.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I mean, no disrespect to you, but saying that you're more qualified than Carmen Brasillo, who's been the O-line coach for three different NFL teams and for a number of college teams. Carmen Brasillo is very well regarded in the O-line coaching community. He's qualified.
And I think
very qualified.
It's very hard to get into as well at fraternity. I'd have had to do that, Will, from the day I retired. It's like now I want to coach.
Right.
I'm too far removed from that. And the Titans, I've never had conversation about coaching, ever.
You just got to the new role. We're not trying to get rid of you.
No, man. Carmen Brasillo will be fine for this.
Absolutely.
Trust me on that one, for sure. Appreciate that, though, Matt.
All right, so yesterday, senators introduced a bipartisan college sports bill with a number of interesting rule changes and one, as Andy Staples of On 3 called it yesterday, poison pill that is probably going to be the reason why this never makes it any farther than just being proposed and being ideas. So Senators Ted Cruz and Maria Cantwell agreed on bipartisan legislation that would usher in a lot of changes and would bring a narrow antitrust exemption to the NCAA, introducing transfer enforcement. Ross Dellinger at Yahoo Sports had this first. Ross has been all over a number of congressional things that senators and Congress people have tried to facilitate change with. Obviously, the president has been very involved in this. This is where the intersection of sports and politics is relevant to all of us because there are major changes within this thing that could totally fix college sports in some ways and could totally drop a bomb in others on things that the Big Ten and SEC don't want. So let's get into the specifics of it.
Yeah.
First and foremost, some of the good things that this would bring. An agent registry limiting fees to 5%.
Can we That part right there is the most toxic thing going on.
Great.
These agents are charging players 20+%. You know what an NFL agent charges you the max? 3%. I negotiated mine down to 1.5%.
Well done by you.
That's the issue. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I think it's a great point. And I think also having a registry that also probably has accreditation processes to be able to represent college athletes versus, hey, my uncle's going to actually represent him. Here's his number. You're just going to go through him. And then he's the one that's also charging you 15 to 20%. He's not giving you any kind of family discount.
No discount, man.
It's happening way more than people think.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So that's one of them. And again, a lot of these changes, you're going to hear things that college football coaches have been pleading for, like all week at SEC meetings in Destin. Oh, we need change. We don't need the Wild West. Well, a lot of this would take away the Wild West. Mm-hmm. We'll get to the big negative here at the end of it, so I'm going to skip over the one big detail. There would be the Lane Kiffin rule. Coach can't leave during the season. Okay. Some positives to that. Don't know how you're going to enforce that when you have the calendar set up the way that it is. So good luck with that.
I feel like that would need a special circumstance situation. Like Lane's situation would be pretty wild to deal with.
And he's the special circumstance.
Exactly.
Athletes would be allowed to transfer once if legislation is approved. Just once. The bill would establish a 5-year eligibility rule for college athletes and prohibit pro players from participating in college athletics if they previously earned compensation beyond prize money, which is great. It would improve or would grant antitrust protections around transfers, eligibility, and the compensation cap, while also giving the College Sports Commission the ability to enforce its rules without legal challenge. The rev share cap would be enforceable. Here's another big change that I think is a little unrealistic, but interesting. The rev share cap, Ramon, would have the ability to be revisited by players. I mean, again, this is a 111-page document. There's a lot of red tape in this, but essentially, as simply as we can put this, the revenue share cap, the salary cap, is enforceable by the College Sports Commission, but the players have the ability. This opens up the door for collective bargaining a little bit. Mm-hmm. It gives protection where players can negotiate that cap to go up as revenue goes up. Yeah. So it does open the door for a collective bargaining agreement and for a players' union to be formed. There's a lot of good in there. A lot of things that make sense.
I'm writing down my questions behind that one too, but yeah.
My question there would be, at what point do the players make too much to where it's not profitable for schools and teams anymore? Because that's going to raise different issues.
My biggest question is, who's the representation on the players' side? Who's
right now, nobody.
But I'm just saying,
major
forward,
question mark. Right.
Like the way J.C. Treader is right now, who's your representation, current players and former players as well? And who do you trust to not also be in the bed with some of these coaches who these coaches love these players to death? Like if Mark Ingram on there, I got to look at Mark Ingram and say, what is Nick Saban saying to you?
That is a major question mark in all of this.
You know?
If players have the ability to negotiate, who's representing the players in those negotiations?
And who's getting paid for it? Because this won't be a free job.
No.
Because the NFL executive director is not a free job either, to my point.
Definitely not.
Okay.
Right. Here's where things get tricky, and the math on this is incredible. There is a Super League rule within all of this. So, the bill includes the opportunity for schools to collectively pool their media rights. It is written like this. If 75% of schools wanted to get together and sell their rights as one, meaning take away the SEC ESPN contract, take away the Big Ten, Fox, and CBS contracts at NBC, take away the CW with the Pac-12, which is basically just the Mountain West with a new coat of paint on it. Take away all that stuff. Teams could come together and pool their media rights together across conference lines. They would have the ability to do that. But if 75% of schools wanted to do it and sell their rights as one, then they would be covered under the Sports Broadcasting Act. So the only thing right now, Ramon, that's keeping the SEC and the Big Ten from pooling their media rights together and essentially being NFL light is the Sports Broadcasting Act. the antitrust exemption that they would have to get because you have a total monopoly. You have antitrust violations. If the SEC and Big Ten came together, the Sports Broadcasting Act is what Cody Campbell, the senator Cody Campbell, the money guy from Texas, for Texas Tech, he wants all of that amended. That way, the full profitability of college sports can really be taken advantage of to, in his mind, save women's sports and save college sports by pooling media rights together from the big-time power players. He is working so that Texas Tech could be involved in that.
Okay.
Not just SEC and Big Ten, because obviously Texas Tech is, at this point, not an SEC school.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the tough part about that. 75% of schools would have to get together and do this. Ramon, there are 138 FBS schools. How many do you think 75% is?
I saw the answers already.
Yep.
But it's
103 and a half.
104, basically.
Do you know how many schools are in the SEC and Big Ten combined?
Just over 30.
The exact difference between 103 and a half and 138. There are 34 teams combined in the SEC and Big Ten. So if every team in the SEC and Big Ten said, nope, we don't want to do this. We do not want to pool all of our rights together. But the other 104 said, yup, we're in. Guess who loses?
The SEC and Big Ten.
The SEC and Big Ten. And all of a sudden, all of this power that they have created and taken in college football playoff expansion, in just having the big seats, being the co-commissioners, essentially, right now of college sports, Tony Petitti and Greg Sankey, all that flies out the window. The second everyone else can pool their media rights together and be given an antitrust exemption according to and covered by the Sports Broadcasting Act. Questions, comments, concerns? Where do you begin to evaluate all of this?
Just the power that you think you have is in money, but not in numbers. And I know money is king in this. And how do you, so Dan Wolken, who I understand is somewhat anti-SEC at times, he wrote a very, I thought, piercing article yesterday about the SEC. It was mainly about the SEC and not the Big Ten.
I'm just glad I could read the article because he unblocked me on Twitter for some reason.
He did?
Yeah.
Get out
I'm back.
Here.
Huge for me.
Welcome back, man.
Go ahead.
Absolutely. But he went on and on about this scenario of like the SEC trying to flex his muscles and why it can't at this point. This proposal right here from Congress is the stop of the Super League and how you get to that point. Well, Dan is saying essentially this, like the SEC can be all that they want to be, but at the end of the day, the functionality of the SEC dies off if they separate themselves. It's essentially the same thing right now with the Big Ten and the SEC. Like the strength is in numbers in this. The division that they have right now between the Big Ten and the SEC versus everybody is not real life. And if the SEC or Big Ten find themselves separating from the pack, you die off because those monies don't equal the same amount when you're only comparing it to yourself. That's the issue that I have with it as well. Like the idea and understanding that you can get to a point to where you're collectively bargain and be on the same page with the higher ranked teams and the lower level teams is too. That to me is where the NFL model might not be a reality for college football. Like a CBA coming together and TV rights and everything too, it's only 32 owners. There's 138 owners essentially in college football.
And it would take 104 teams to pool their media rights together and be covered under the Sports Broadcasting Act.
It's too big. It's too many splits in this pie, I think, that I don't think it would make it it would be advantageous for anybody at this point. We're talking about dividing the pie 104 different ways. The whole, I think, genesis of all of this was money. How do we maximize our strengths versus everybody else's?
Because you've created an additional expense paying players. So how do you create additional revenue in order to pay that additional expense?
By doing more. That's where the college football playoffs is playing a bigger part in it to me too. I like the conversation. I like that they're trying to push the gas pedal as far as getting something done. But to me, this one just doesn't make sense. And Dan Wolken wrote a real good article as it pertains to like the SEC and what it could do to the SEC if they do separate. Do I agree with some of it? No. But the reality of it is, don't swing too big on this one.
Well, the SEC needs a friend.
They do. They need a few of them. if we can be honest.
You need 40 to 50 teams to be able to form some sort of super league that would do its own playoff, do its own thing. Essentially, all of the schools that are the haves versus the have-nots, who have the resources to compete for national championships. But with this bill, bipartisan, in the Senate, you do not have the ability to do that if this passed. And you don't have the ability to do it right now either because, again, you are violating antitrust laws.
Mm-hmm.
So there is some sort of amendment that needs to happen, either this bill or an amendment to the Sports Broadcasting Act that would allow those conferences to do exactly that and to just say, you know what, thanks but no thanks, NCAA, College Sports Commission, all this stuff. We're going to actually have enforceable rules. We're just going to manage them ourselves. The legislative part of this that's interesting is that they recess in August.
Yeah.
There are elections coming up after that. So there's kind of a soft deadline to get this done before they recess in August for this to pass, which makes me think it's not going to happen. Because I think there is a really short time frame here for this to work. And if you have a totally different Senate and totally just different look of Congress after re-elections happen in the fall, then you don't have the same people voting on this, and all of a sudden the process might have to begin all over again. And a lot of the folks that may have had support for this now aren't in office anymore. So I don't know if this really has legs. I do think Andy Staples talked about it yesterday. Him and Ari Wasserman on Andy and Ari on 3 did a great job breaking it all down. It has the best chance of passing of anything Congress has done. The SCORE Act never got close to this level of realism. That died last week. The opposition for that was the Congressional Black Caucus. Never really got anywhere. This one has a chance, but it is still 3rd and 20 on your own 25-yard line with a minute left and you got one timeout. Like you technically have a chance of this happening, but I don't think it's super realistic.
So that's I'm glad you brought that up because I read that part of it yesterday too. The NAACP and the National Black Caucus were both on Capitol Hill speaking on two different ways of representation, not just in race and color, but there are no players having any say-so in this.
Well, there's no players, and I mean, there's just so many different schools that have different needs that aren't represented in the big kids table.
Yes, and that's where I guess the breakdown of this is probably going to end up happening too. They can get close to the finish line, but there's zero, if we're talking about collectively bargaining, there's zero conversation right now from athletes in general. Like Trinidad Chandler should have a say-so in this somewhere, right? Like this is where we are. Nobody is able to speak right now. It's just the adults, to your point, in Congress and coaches and ADs and presidents.
That's the point Danny White and Donnie Plowman have made time and time again. Until players can collectively bargain and agree to any changes we make, we're just going to be spinning in circles.
Yeah.
A big congressional change and a bill that becomes law would be the exception to that. But again, there are challenges and hoops to jump through with that as well.
And how do you also get the splits right? I know the SEC and Big Ten are going to want the bigger pie, but what about Bowling Green? They need Bowling Green in this 104.
If you have 104 teams pooling their media rights, does Toledo get the same percentage of that revenue as Alabama? Does USC get the same amount as, I don't know, name a random
Fresno?
school? Georgia Southern?
Yeah. No, seriously.
Georgia State?
Kennesaw State?
Yeah.
Memphis?
Right. That's why I don't think it's super realistic.
The attempt, though, is awesome. This is about as good of a, I guess, other than the Super League one, that to me I think is about as good as a template that they've had as of late.
And I think that's what makes this a story. That's what makes it something to spend as much time on as we will today and in the coming days and weeks. It feels like a critical first step because there are a lot of good things in here. A lot of good things in here. Ultimately, the poison pill is going to be the Super League thing that we'll see how much influence the SEC and Big Ten has over their local senators to keep that from happening. Because it may still happen. But I think it's more the timeline of recess in August and midterms and elections coming up. that really gives this a soft deadline that's not going to be reached.
Yeah, there's another a point I want to make too on this as far as this money and enrollment and everything else with this. We'll get to.
We'll do that coming up next. We'll take your calls at 615-737-1045 as we continue hour one after this.
One word that comes to mind when you think about Genesis Diamonds: integrity. This is a company built on a solid foundation with total transparency and honesty. This is why they don't have commissioned salespeople. They pay their employees, not you. So they aren't under any pressure to sell to you at all, and you aren't under any pressure to buy. They share with you the long-held secrets of the diamond industry, teaching you the tricks to maximize the value of your purchase. They show you how to buy like a dealer buys as well. Another thing, at Genesis Diamonds, they don't play the pricing game at all, unlike other jewelers. They work on a very small margin, so they don't mark up to mark down prices. They offer the best value price every single day. And when they do have a sale, listen to them, it's the real deal, not a phony event at all. We're lucky to have Genesis Diamonds here. They're not another big box corporate chain store at all. They're locally owned, but with international connections that guarantee no middleman pricing on every diamond. And don't forget, only Genesis has the top bridal designer brands that everyone wants. They were handpicked by all the top designers because only Genesis meets the highest standard in quality and customer care that these designers demand. You will love the experience there. Trust me. Genesis Diamonds are located in Green Hills and Cool Springs.
So the Protect College Sports Act is Congress's best foot forward so far in changing college sports. Spent a lot of time on that this morning. 615-737-1045. Ramon Foster and Will Bowling. You wanted to make another point about what interests you regarding the act and bipartisan bill that was put out yesterday.
So the whole conversation is about the collectively bargained agreement that the NCAA wants with the players to make sure that this business flows and can have parameters around it. The issue is...
I don't know if the NCAA wants it.
Well, yeah. Well, the conversation that is being written, this is from Ross Dellinger yesterday on Yahoo Sports, and he was just speaking about of course, some ADs are saying, yes, this is the only pathway. They're already employees and stuff like that. The issue that they have is with a lot of these schools, not most of them. We speak about the Big 40. Let's call it that. The Big 40 that like your Tennessees, your Ohio State, your Texas, Alabamas, et cetera. You know who they are. But there's a lot of schools that might not be in that same conversation. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but maybe Rutgers not there. Maybe Michigan State has a good bit of support, not the support that they want as far as athletics and sports going. The issue is schools are dipping into the general enrollment fund. So Ross Dellinger wrote this too, and it kind of raised my eyes a little bit. And it actually stems from the housing crisis in 2008. And this part, right? Combined with the millions spent on coaching and administrative salaries, rising roster compensation amounts have thrust athletic departments into the red. Universities, some of them already crippled financially, considering their enrollment cliff. That's why it's like, what's the enrollment cliff? They are using general funds to fill athletic budgetary holes, and costs are only expected to go higher. I do think this is a reason to get the collectively bargained agreement between 104 teams minimum. But you mean to tell me some schools are spending enrollment money that regular students pay to come to universities on college football, basketball, and other sports too? I personally have an issue with that. And I think this is why some of these teams are wanting to get together so they can get a bigger piece of the pie so they can function. The enrollment cliff is from the 2008 housing crisis where the market fell and people stopped having kids. They knew this was going to happen. 18 years later, the enrollments at some schools, not all schools, have taken a dip. And in that, they don't have the money to function, to pay either for better professors, better facilities, and now they're also taking that money to put it into athletics because everybody's trying to compete.
Yeah.
If I was a regular student that was going for chemistry somewhere or biology, I would be kind of ticked off by that, especially if my team is losing and we don't have any real excitement on game days too. Like that's how dirty, that's how dirty sports are becoming at the college level right now. The general fund is being used.
Yeah, but honestly,
not all schools though.
Honestly, my pushback on that is though, don't give Jimbo Fisher a $70 million buyout.
Very true.
Don't negotiate against no one and extend Matt Rule just because Penn State might kind of be interested in calling him. I think schools are complicit in the reason why they're having to pull money from other places because they give out these terrible contracts to all Jimmy Sexton's buddies.
It's tough.
So there is also an area where college athletics and teams have to sit there and say, all right, now wait a minute. What can we do to also save some of the stupid money that we've been handing out? Yeah.
I'm just like, wait, we're dipping into other pots to Saturday. And you're right. The buyouts are ridiculous.
Yeah.
The new facilities are insane. Now,
not as insane as they used to be because where's the money to build new facilities now?
And they're expecting lower enrollment?
That's why Tennessee is going to build an entertainment district. And there are a lot of people that hate the entertainment district.
But this is why.
It's easy to see why. You are looking for any way you possibly can to spend a little bit to make a lot.
And the common fan is having their talent fee be thrown into ticket sales.
Yeah, right.
And
at least Tennessee's open about
it. I know.
Like, I'd at least be told, like, hey, we need to go get better players. But we need a little bit more of your money.
The more you read into it, the more, ticked off I think you'll be about it.
Eric in Nashville, next up on the phone this morning. What's up, Eric?
Hey, guys, I'm going to get to the college deal in a minute. But first of all, I just want to say, Ramon, congratulations to you
with
the position you have for the Titans. Does that mean now that are you still going to be able to do as much as you can with UT, or is that going to kind of be cut back? Or
no, I cannot. I removed myself from that, man. I had those conversations last week, man. Yeah, no, I couldn't do both. I asked, but no, too much, way too much.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Guys, with all this stuff that you're talking about with college football, I get it. You're probably right, but it kind of makes me think about other conferences. And, of course, makes you think about the ACC. And, of course, makes me think about the elephant in the room, Notre Dame. I mean, maybe they have something to do with this. Maybe they don't. I don't know how they kind of fit in all this, and just wanted to get your thoughts about how you think, regardless of whatever happens to this, they would fit in something like this that you're talking about. Guys, as always, it's a pleasure to talk to you. Ramon, again, congratulations to you. Y'all take care, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Sure.
Appreciate it, Eric.
Appreciate it, Eric.
Notre Dame is kind of already in the position to pool its own media rights and sell itself as its own entity to NBC. Yeah. I mean, Notre Dame is sitting here like watching as other schools try to get the freedom and the marketability that they already have. So I don't know where they would really fall on this, to be quite honest with you, because they kind of already have whatever they want because they're their own conference.
They don't come up until you start speaking about college football playoffs and conference. And just which seed they are. You're right. We hadn't heard a peep from them. Not even a little bit.
The last peep we heard was when they changed the playoff rules. That way they get in if they are ranked in the top 12, which was like a quiet little change that got made late last season.
Would they even share at this point?
I mean, they have no incentive to. They have no incentive to share. They get a ton of revenue just on their own right now because they're their own conference. For college football, as far as that's concerned, yeah. For sure. Interesting. This is. I would be stunned if this passed. I would be.
Yeah.
But I would still say that it's the best chance of something to pass than anything that's been brought out from Congress. And we know based on what the president has said that Trump's in favor of this.
You good with self-governing? Because that's been the conversation that Ross Dellins has written about as well.
What do you mean by self-governing?
This is more of the SEC and other schools showing how feckless the NCAA is, and if they won't do it, then we'll set our own standards while operating under you. Like, you can't have this be the case, but we'll say you only get one transfer. Only our conference is doing this right now.
I mean, as far as if self-governing means just you're not governed by the NCAA anymore, then sure, but this
not
would just
separating.
But this would just give authority to a new entity, which is the College Sports Commission, so the CSC. So it's really not self-governing from the perspective of the SEC and Big Ten. It's the College Sports Commission would be given the authority to govern college sports and to actually enforce the rules that they have created after the House settlement. This essentially takes the House settlement that was settled in court, the antitrust, all that stuff, and says, all right, well, now all that stuff's law, and if you break it, you can't go run to an alumnus of your school who has a courtroom somewhere in the middle of nowhere, Louisiana, Will Wade, or Texas, Brendan Sorsby, and can't go cry lawsuit. Joey Aguilar, same boat.
Very true.
Same thing. 615-737-1045 is our number. Well, speaking of big NIL deals and big transfers, Tennessee is still waiting for Chaz Coleman to make his way back to the practice field, back to Knoxville. We'll give you all the latest details on the big story as Tennessee football hits the practice field again this week. Coming up next.
7:04. Good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Carolina Hurricanes shut out the Montreal Canadiens 4-0 in Game 4 last night and take a 3-1 series lead in the Eastern Conference Finals. The Hurricanes now one win away from their first trip to the Stanley Cup Finals since 2006 when they beat Edmonton in 7 games to win the Cup. Game 5 is back in Raleigh tomorrow night. Tonight, the NBA Western Conference Finals, Game 6 in San Antonio between the Thunder and the Spurs. The Thunder lead the series 3-2 and the chance to return to the NBA Finals in consecutive seasons. Tip-off tonight is at 7:30 on NBC. In Titans news yesterday, the team announced they've signed first-round draft pick Keldrick Falk to his rookie contract. The edge rusher out of Auburn, selected 31st overall, was the last remaining member of the Titans' 8 draft picks in 2026 to sign. And in some college basketball news, Vanderbilt point guard Tyler Tanner is officially headed back to college as he's withdrawing his name from the NBA draft. Announced yesterday, Tanner averaged 19.5 points and 5.1 assists per game last season. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into hour number 2 on your Thursday morning edition of Ramon and Will. 615-737-1045, how you jump in. Bill Bender joins us talking college football at 8:20. Easton Freeze at 9:20, and the draft returns. As this morning, we do a snake draft of the biggest busts in sports. That's coming up here at 7:20. Streaming the show live on 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch, where your comments can be submitted to us in the F&M Bank chat. So Tennessee has started its summer workout program, and the Vols have done so without Chaz Coleman. Josh Heupel yesterday saying the Penn State transfer has been dealing with some things, and we're here to support him. We'll continue to go through that process. Didn't finish spring practice or spring semester workouts. Coleman has been dealing with ongoing personal issues. Last month, when Josh Heupel was asked about it at the Big Orange Caravan, he gave no timetable for a possible return. He said, at the end of the day, he's dealing with some things and has to work through those things. When he's able to do that, then he will be back with us. 8 tackles, 3 TFLs, 2 fumble recoveries, and a sack. Not eye-popping numbers, Ramon, for what he's already done, but he is a former 5-star. He is certainly at the top of Tennessee's depth chart and in their plans rushing the passer, which is a big question mark. How worried are you about Chaz Coleman and the fact that he still is not out there with his teammates for workouts in Knoxville?
The fact that they've taken a break, the guys went away for like 2 weeks. They've been together. Now it's summertime training. I'm about a 7 out of 10. I usually underplay these type of situations right here. I was just like, okay, well, he'll be there. I'm not sure about this one. So I've been doing a little digging myself, trying to figure out, okay, what kind of situation is this? When I mention these names, don't take disrespect to the people that know these folks, whoever the case is, but is it a Boo Carter situation? Is it a James Pierce Jr. situation with all the things that we've heard? Is he a bad apple? So my intel that I got from my sources was this on him. He's not any of that.
He's not Boo Carter.
He's not Boo Carter. He's not James. I'm not sure if anybody understands, but like James toward the end, like some of his teammates didn't like being around him in that context. Just in general, he's not that. One of my sources told me legitimately he's got a lot of family issues. He's been used as a pawn a lot of this time. And I know people showed the money picture and stuff like that. That to me is, I look at his situation and say it's probably just what he knows how to do, how to act in those moments right there. Depression and just being on a solo island, being on the island by yourself is a lot to deal with at that age, especially when you got family members that are probably from below poverty and how they deal with you and ask you for money. I'm not sure if anybody's ever been in that situation where they go from being a little boy to being the apex of their family, where everybody comes to you at 18, 19, 20 years old, is like, gimme, gimme, gimme. And these are the people that you love that have taken you to all these events. And now you figure out they're using you. Like, there's an attempt to get him in the fold, from my opinion. From my understanding, from what I was told. he wants to, but it's a matter of him processing family issues and how he's going to go about it as well. I'm very interested to see what happens moving forward, but this isn't a he doesn't want to. I was told he's legitimately dealing with some stuff. And family's a huge part of that as well when you've been used like a pawn by those folks, and how to separate that, process it, and move forward. I'm not making an excuse for him. It's very worrisome. If you have issues, like, seek help. Thing is, we say that about a lot of people that after the fact, have created their own demise.
Yeah.
They don't know how to ask for it. Or it's a sense of weakness if you do those types of things. So a lot of people like to self-process, and that's not healthy. So I was told it's not Boo Carter's situation where he doesn't want to be around. He's processing a lot of stuff. Still need him. It's a bad headline again for the Vols.
Yeah.
I know Georgia got speed racing and stuff, but we always got some emotional crap going on in Knoxville, and I know the fan base is just like, why do we continually deal with that? We're that close to Brendan Sorsby. Imagine these two happening in that same offseason. Just a wild place to be at right now.
Brent Hubbs of VolQuest wrote yesterday about this, says Chaz Coleman was around some of his teammates during community service work in late April and May. He also spent a good bit of time with defensive line coach Roddy Garner after spring practice. But as the summer grind starts, the question remains as to whether or not Coleman will be a part of it. I mean, at this point, it's beyond just him showing up. It's beyond just him being on the practice field for a day and saying, oh, okay, we're good.
Yeah.
The question is, can he show up every day? And not just show up. You're not asked to just be present at practice. You're asked to put in the work and get better and earn the NIL dollars that you've put pen to paper for, that you get if you play and if you practice. Mm-hmm. I don't know all the intimate details of this. I'm not going to pretend to. Everything I've heard and read and everything that Brent Hubbs and Austin Price have said on the show back up what you just said. It's always been the case. It's different from the Boo Carter situation.
It is.
This is not someone holding out for more NIL dollars. This is other stuff going on. And hope that the family stuff is resolved to the point where he can not just play football, but practice football. But in the meantime, there's a football team that's got to move on with or without Chaz Coleman. Mm-hmm. And there's a football team that's got to have guys step up at edge rusher. And Marion Dye has put together a good offseason, and there's some freshmen coming in that they really like. And Jordan Norman, the kid out of Tulane, has gotten really good praise from the staff and from people around the team that I think could be a really big player for this defense.
Yeah.
Chaz Coleman was the crown jewel of all of that, and of a room that has been totally remade moving forward into this season.
And that's the point I want to go back to, is the whole room being remade because pretty much everybody left out of that room, and Chaz Coleman was supposed to be a mainstay in that. And that's where the problem may unfold, though, Will, is you spoke about the potential Congress CBA. That's going on right now, limiting agents and their fees, and also having a database where they go get certified. This may have been one of those situations. There was a huge need for the Vols to go get edge rushers and defensive linemen in general. If the agent knew that, hey, his former DC is going to Tennessee, and they also have a huge need for edge rushers, can you imagine the number that he asked Tennessee for and probably got? No, not even knowing if Chaz Coleman, wanted to be in Tennessee. What if they just negotiated on behalf of him without fully understanding where he wanted to go? And what if family said, hey, we're in a position where we need this money, Chaz. Go do this for us. I don't care if it's in Knoxville, Tennessee. What if he wanted to go to Houston or to Tuscaloosa or to Austin? These are the situations that you kind of find himself in, and Tennessee probably paid a nice penny for him.
Yeah.
So I'm not excuse making for him. I just want to say.
It's sad.
It's sad.
It's a sad situation.
It is. And apparently he is dealing with some mental stuff as far as the separation and trying to figure out how to deal with everything else from my sources. So it's a wild place to be at when you are a pawn in a game with a bunch of adults operating around you.
Sure.
Tough.
Really sad. Definitely.
Yeah. Depression hits even the richest people is what I would say.
No doubt.
It's a real world, and people, I think people expect money to fix a lot of stuff. It takes some problems away, not all of them.
It's part of the challenge of giving that money to 18, 19, 20-years.
Yes.
Or younger.
Or younger.
Yeah. Some cool news announced on the station yesterday. Wanted to give a shout out to longtime Wake Up Zone host, News Channel 5 sports anchor Mark Howard, who is going to head into the Tennessee Radio Hall of Fame. And many of you, like me, woke up listening to this station and listening to him, to Frank Wycheck, to Kevin Ingram, to a number of people and contributors who were on this station on the Wake Up Zone. Announced yesterday from Chip Walters on 3HL, Mark Howard is synonymous with 104.5 The Zone. He is synonymous with Nashville Sports Radio, and it is so well-deserved for the work that he put in. He cared about you. I got the chance to work with him for a little bit. Obviously tragically passed away a few years back, and we miss Mark, but we feel the impact. We feel the legacy, the foundation for this show and for this station that he set. And Ramon, I know that you were as happy as I was yesterday seeing that. That is so well-deserved for an icon of sports media in the city of Nashville.
No doubt about it. We still hear about the Wake Up Zone here in Nashville, man. It's just people speaking about the grounds that they laid out, how epic that show was and how long they were on air as well, man. And not just that, the people that they were and also the characters that they also showed on air, too. Entertainment from the community, man, and absolutely love their professionalism and how they laid down such a legacy, man. Congratulations to him and his family. And I guess it's just a kudos to the work that you lay down over the years that he did this, man. And I'm glad to see that he's able to get that praise, even if, he's not here to receive it as many would have liked it at the time, man.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Absolutely. Very well deserved.
Absolutely.
Congratulations, Mark Howard, set to be inducted into the Tennessee Radio Hall of Fame. Mark passed away in July of 2022, and we miss him. Survived by his wife and his 4 children. Congratulations to the family. As he is honored as exactly what he was, a great in this industry. And the Wake Up Zone, which was so much fun listening to growing up. So happy for him, happy for the legacy that he leaves, that he'll be honored in Tennessee Radio Hall of Fame. Pretty cool stuff.
Big time stuff.
Absolutely. Coming up, the draft returns, a snake draft of the biggest busts in sports. Maybe some Titans draft picks that may make the list here. We'll talk about that next.
It's Ramon Foster, and I'm with Aaron from United Structure Systems. Man, they came by today to check out my house. If there's anything, any issues, small or big, you're going to fill us in there.
We can take care of it no matter what kind of problems. So first off, we'll just kind of take a look through your house and see what kind of issues you got going. Cracks in the brick, cracks in the drywall, weird spots in the floor, doors sticking, windows not opening properly. Once we identify those areas, we're going to do a thorough inspection around the outside, make sure there's no issues going on with that. And then once we look over it, we'll talk about what's going on, and hopefully we ain't got no issues, and then we'll go from there.
Let's go. Let's go.
Ms. Foster, so we have looked at the issues that you brought up. We had the drywall in the attic up here above your bonus or your garage. You had some doors sticking.
I did.
Going in your bathroom. So we've inspected all that. We don't see any major structural concerns. So you're going to be one of our lucky good news customers today. There is some minor deflection there. That's not an uncommon thing. As any house is built, it's its biggest and its strongest the day that it's born. Gotcha. Right? And from that point, it just gets older, just like us. We ain't hopping up out of bed, taking off down the hallway, running upstairs. And
not protecting quarterbacks anymore.
No.
Opening up late. We're done.
Your guard ain't there no more.
Okay,
so,
I got you.
So it just happens. It gets a little older and it starts to deflect. Now, there are some things we can do to kind of help adjust those doors, mainly adjusting in the door, which we don't necessarily do, and maybe doing some light shimming in the crawl space down there to address those sticking doors. But for now, no major issues there. We did talk about the grading in the back and some issues that we can take care of back there for you. But that's pretty much up in a nutshell. No big issues and you're good to go. So.
Awesome. So again, the way you deal with United Structural Systems is it's upfront, it's honest, and now I can sleep peacefully at night, okay?
This is a different court, Blair.
Same result, Slay.
Oh, okay, Blair. See, that's Tyler Tanner. See, Tyler Tanner's in the house now.
Let's see what you got. Jerry's out, Blair.
Blair, come on. Okay, Blair, just come sit down. Come on, Blair, stop. You're going to get hurt. Blair, get off the court. That's enough.
What's the verdict, Blair?
The courtroom is where I play ball.
Boy, Durham, injury law, and that ain't got no roof.
The guaranteed offer is the simplest, least stressful way to sell your home. You go to our website, you fill out a quick form, we set an appointment, we bring you an all-cash offer. Literally, there's no lockbox on the front of your house, there's no showings, we pay all cash, we close in as little as 21 days, stress-free. We've helped thousands of homeowners just like you sell your home the hassle-free way with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate.
Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone, hour number 2 on this Friday, Junior. Ramon Foster, Justin Hawkins, Will Bowling, 615-737-1045. The draft is back. We do this on Thursdays of the off season. I know the big voice guy says our season never ends. It does. So we're going to do the draft of the offseason.
Yeah, it does.
The beauty of the offseason is it's still fun and it's just different. So that's exactly what we're going to do, Ramon.
That's exactly what we're going to do. We have a ball with it, man. This is a good one, though, too, because when you start looking at some of the names that are out there, I'm very interested to see who takes what player and who wins, too. Who won the last poll we did when we did a draft? Was it Hawk?
Yes, sir.
It was Hawk. I thought so. You're not winning this time, Hawk. I'm trying to figure out how diabolical I'm going to be about this one.
We did there it is. We did the draft of GOATs last time, and Justin's team of Michael Jordan, Lionel Messi, Michael Phelps, and Jerry Rice.
GOAT
won.
Such a good one.
Over my team in second of Tom Brady, Wayne Gretzky, LeBron James, and Dale Sr. Tells me about the demographic of people who are voting on this. It does. It does. Yeah.
This is very true.
Also, when I picked LeBron in the third round, all the comments are like, "You picked LaFlop? What are you talking about?" Like, okay. All right. Well, let's recalibrate. Let's readjust, and let's go.
I got to tell this joke. It was hilarious when you said it earlier. It just fits the conversation of how we love things. But we were having a conversation. People love things that they never experienced before. You made the comments like, "What else do you miss, buddy?" What do you say? Nickel Coca-Colas?
Oh yeah. We'll leave it at that.
Nickel Coca-Cola.
We'll leave it
like,
at that.
We've never. I remember getting a quarter drink though. I do remember when drinks were like 50 cents out of the machine and stuff like that.
I do not.
You do not. Yeah. Then it went up to 75 cents.
Tough
Inflation.
All right, let's spin the wheel for first pick. And first will be, look at that. Justin gets the first pick.
I'm over him.
I don't want the first pick.
Yeah, I don't either.
The second pick is the best.
Who you got?
Okay, so take him off. Then we got to establish the whole order now. So here's second spin. Will be me. I will pick second. I promise you. Look, I'll show you. I'll show you my work. It points to me on the random generator. There you go.
All right. It's above board. I'm here for it. Let's roll.
Let's do it.
Let's go with probably the biggest draft bust in all time. Let's go with Jamarcus Russell, quarterback.
Okay.
Back in 2007. Still on the board in that draft. Number 2 overall, Calvin Johnson.
Yeah, it's not great. That's an easy number 1 overall.
He held out with his rookie contract. He held out for about $60 million, set a record, and then just was awful.
It's not a bad pick.
Not a bad pick at all.
Not a bad pick at all. Jamarcus Russell 1-1. It is always funny as I redo the graphic. Right now, I've just got your team of Jamarcus Russell, Lionel Messi, Michael Phelps. It's just funny saying Messi and Jamarcus Russell's names against each other. All right. With the second pick, I will take the pride of Washington State University. Picked number 2 overall, a career touchdown interception ratio of 14 touchdowns to 36 interceptions. That, of course, would be Ryan Leaf. Biggest bust.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I like our trend that we got going on right here. What
2 quarterbacks.
Two quarterbacks. And guess what we're going to do? We're going to add a third one with a career completion percentage of 57%. The number 2 overall draft pick in the 2021 NFL draft. Let's go, Zach Wilson, baby.
All right.
Oh, brother Zach. I'm talking about a sidewinder, throw down the field, catapulted that young man into the number 2 overall draft pick.
Okay. Jamarcus Russell 1, Ryan Leaf 2, Zach Wilson 3.
Mm-hmm.
All quarterbacks. It's our football bias.
Here I go again.
Yes,
this
you
is
do.
not specified to NFL, correct?
No,
Okay,
absolutely not. No, I got an NBA guy on here. A couple of them. The next one on this list to me, I think it's just a hot one. The guy that protects him. Let's go Isaiah Wilson.
That's awful.
Isaiah Wilson, the local angle.
Panda.
I just
that's a great pick.
I just never saw one.
Was not going to be my next pick, but he was going to be my third-round pick.
I figured he'd go by the time I got back around, so I might as well take him.
It's good value by you.
I thank you. I appreciate that, man.
You could have traded back, but you know what?
I thought about another quarterback, but I said we're good. I didn't want to trade out of this, so I want to stick and pick.
He lasted more draft picks than he played NFL snaps.
4 plays, 2 trades, and a jump out the window allegedly.
Yeah, it's not great.
His career is just like his stunts he was doing in his car, a bunch of donuts. This one, we got to laugh at it.
We do.
I tried. I did. I saw him off site a few times like, hey, man, you got a chance. Oh, not no more.
I will break away from NFL. I cannot believe this player made it to me in the second round. Taken right before Kevin Durant.
No.
From Ohio State University, Greg Oden.
And
is my second pick.
Tough. That's a good one.
Greg Oden.
Yeah.
He was third on my list.
Injuries kept him from ever making it in the NBA. And if you know anybody who is that big of a human, and big men in basketball, they got a lot of pain, a lot of joint pain, a lot of knee pain, a lot of ankle pain, a lot of back pain. And it was just too much for Greg Oden.
That 2007 NBA draft was a elite draft. A lot of long-time tenured NBA players in that one.
And then Greg Oden.
And also Greg Oden.
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Well, you got Brother Hawk.
All right, we are going to stay in the NBA, and we're going to go with the Cleveland Cavaliers 2013 draft pick, Anthony Bennett.
Wow, okay. Interesting.
I remember that one.
Interesting.
Out of, UNLV?
Yes.
Yeah.
Victor Oladipo went number 2 overall. It wasn't a great draft, that one, but he was supposed to be – they had Kyrie Irving at that time, and he was supposed to be the next guy to take them to their next step in the franchise, and just he played 4 seasons.
Not great.
Not great at all.
Okay. I'm surprised he went that early, but it is a good pick. I expected him to be picked.
Yeah, I did too. I mean, great shot right there, Hawk. Just insane. Like, when you look at just how it truly unfolds and the hype that came behind him, absolutely ridiculous, man.
All right. What you got next?
Let's go back to the NFL. We're going to go back to the quarterbacks. I'm going to go with the great lefty out of USC, number 10 overall pick, Matt Leinart. Was a fantastic USC quarterback, won 2 championships, and then just absolute failure.
Was on my list.
He was a 57% career completion percentage. His first year threw 11 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, over 2,000 yards, but after that was just a failure.
He was a bust to y'all?
Oh, yeah.
He's never top of the mind when it comes to bust, though.
There is a bigger bust that I'm about to pick at quarterback than him, but he was a bust, yes.
Yeah, okay.
For number 10 overall pick to start 17 games in his career and have 15 touchdowns to 21 interceptions. Yeah. He was around for 6 years, but he only really had 1 year where he was a starter in 2006. Wow. Yeah. I think there's a bigger one, though. Who was picked higher. The team traded up to get him. He is still in the league, but he has even less touchdowns, even though he does also have less interceptions. A 54% career completion percentage, 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He's played 16 games in his career since he was drafted number 3 overall in the 2021 NFL draft. How did he make it to me this far? Trey Lance.
Solid selection.
I think is a bigger bust than Zach Wilson and Matt Leinart.
Really?
With you. Absolutely. Considering what the 49ers traded up to get him for, Zach Wilson's at least stuck as a backup. Trey Lance has been a third stringer for a lot of his career.
This is true. Okay. All right. For sure. I get that part of it, but Trey also had injuries that led to his as well on the sideline.
Doesn't matter how. Just matters that you busted.
You didn't live up to it.
Insert Brock Purdy.
That's very true.
Yep.
And I guess injuries could have gone to it could have gone to Joe Burrow, and Joe Burrow also bounced back from his injuries. That's your point. All right, I get that one. Trey is definitely being taken that early, that soon as a bust, but man, I would have given him a little bit more grace. That's a good one though.
He's got 5 career touchdown passes. That's number 3 overall pick.
Cheeks, you're right. When you're right, you're right. I'm here for it. All right. When you're right, you're right.
You've got the final 2 picks from him. Or you have your final 2 picks?
I do.
Yes.
I might even throw a high schooler in here.
Okay.
Let's bleep them kids. My My third overall selection goes to the one himself, the movement, the man. Had more hype, had more music video praises and shout outs, had almost an entire song about him and everything that he did. I don't know where he was drafted at helped his failures, or just was he a crash out to begin with. Now, where he was taken, not bad for a guy, but he also came in with so much hype. Money Manziel. Johnny.
Did not have him on my board, but that's not a bad one.
That's a good pick.
Just looking at how he came into the league, Heisman winner, put Texas A&M back on the map, absolutely set the world on fire with his movement, from social media to the dollar signs to everything that he was doing, flying to Miami, going back to College Station. Drake made a song, threw his name in there as well. Draft day, Johnny Manziel goes to the Cleveland Browns.
Wiggins.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, legitimately, his NFL career is 2 seasons. He started 8 games. He is 2-6 in those games. His overall completion percentage is 57%. He's got 7 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. Now, for the 22nd overall pick, you'll say, okay, whatever. But no, he was supposed to be the savior for them. Cleveland had 2 draft picks that year and ended up taking Johnny Manziel. He did slide, but he was supposed to come in and take Cleveland to levels that they'd never been in their lives. Johnny Manziel is my 3rd overall selection.
Didn't he beat the Titans?
Did he?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Which led to Marcus Mariota being the draft pick.
Tough.
I think.
So Johnny Manziel, my last selection, man. High school legend. Tate Martell out of Bishop Gorman went 45 and
I forgot about him.
He was on that QB Netflix series back in the day. Terrible attitude. But
it's kind of a deep cut, but it's not a bad pick.
Thank you, sir. I really looked at this one, man. He went 45-0 coming out of high school. 3 straight undefeated seasons, 113 passing touchdowns, over 7,500 passing yards, was originally committed to Ohio State. He jumped to like 5 different schools before his career actually ended in the end. He was supposed to be the next Trevor Lawrence. He was the next everybody is what I'm telling you. He was the guy. And absolutely crashed out in the end. I forget what all schools he went to, but he did not have a great career at all. Tate Martell, to me, was by far one of the first social media stars of this phenom era.
It's a good pick.
Thank you.
I don't mind it. I'm curious how many people will know who that is who vote on this, but I do like it.
But if you know ball,
it's a good pick.
You know that one.
That's true.
All right, appreciate it.
I'm going back and forth on 2 options for my last pick. It's really 3 options. I could go another Titan. I could go college football route on another high recruit. But I'm going to go somewhere else because you mentioned the number 1 overall pick in another NBA draft earlier. And there was an even better draft. Maybe the best draft of all time in any sport. That took place for the NBA draft in 2003. When LeBron James became a Cleveland Cavalier with the number 1 overall pick. Carmelo Anthony was made a Denver Nugget with the number 3 overall pick. Yep. Chris Bosh became a Toronto Raptor out of Georgia Tech with the number 4 overall pick. Dwayne Wade out of Marquette became a member of the Miami Heat with the 5th overall pick. But there was the little matter of the 2nd overall pick by the Detroit Pistons in the 2003 NBA draft. And the reason why you are looking up at the skies thinking, who in the world was that, is the reason why this is the correct final pick. A man who over 10 years averaged 6 points per game, playing for 6 different teams in the National Basketball Association. He is Serbian forward Darko Milicic.
Oh.
My final pick of the bust draft.
He just kind of slid underneath there too, huh?
I shouldn't have skipped that one.
Darko Milicic in that 2003 just dream team NBA draft, going number 2 overall is insane. Totally insane.
One of these is not like the other.
On his basketball reference page, it says that his nickname is the Human Victory Cigar. Okay. I'd love to know the story behind that.
Darko, man. How did he go behind LeBron in front of all of those other names?
I have no idea.
This is where, like, the international game will trick you. That's all that was. The international game right there will trick you, man. He came over here with these Americans and got bodied.
Mm-hmm.
Hate that for him.
Not great. Not great at all.
NBA champion, though, in 2004.
There you go.
Rolled a doggone pond.
Maybe that's how he became the human victory cigar.
Yeah, that's it. Darko Milicic. What's crazy, you know the name, you just don't know the career.
Averaged 1.4 points per game in his rookie season. He played 34 games and started none of them.
That's a 7-footer.
He sure is.
Jeez.
So there's my final pick.
That's a good pick right there. Darko's awesome.
Justin, what you got?
There's
Final
a lot of routes. There's so many options here, but I'm going to go back to the local professional football team and go with the second pick back in, when was it? In 2016, round 2, pick 33, Kevin Dodd out of Clemson.
That's not bad.
A absolute bust.
Not
he
bad
played in 17 games. He had 1 sack, 9 tackles, and that's about it.
That's tough.
2
1
seasons.
sack, 9 tackles from
And
a second-rounder?
just never had any momentum.
Yeah.
Did not want to play football here.
Here or in general?
Yes.
In general. Yeah.
I don't think it was. I mean, there was never as much as even like a positive practice report.
How do you even
on
play?
Kevin Dodd?
How do you make it this far playing football with that level of interest in the game? God, dog.
All right, so we will put this out to a poll on Twitter so you can vote on who had the best team. The bust draft. Justin goes Jamarcus Russell, Anthony Bennett, Matt Leinart, Kevin Dodd. Ramon goes Zach Wilson, Isaiah Wilson, Johnny Manziel, Tate Martell. And I'm going Ryan Leaf, go Cougs, Greg Oden, Trey Lance, and Darko Milicic. Our bust teams. I don't think there are any bad picks in here. I think there are plenty of busts.
I think we hit all the hot ones.
Where did we miss? Biggest busts in sports we didn't mention. 615-737-1045 plus our undrafted picks that did not make the cut. Coming up next. Wrap it up hour number 2 on Ramon and Will, 615-737-1045. We just got done with drafting the biggest busts in sports. Justin goes Jamarcus Russell, Anthony Bennett, Matt Leinart, and Kevin Dodd.
Mm-hmm.
Ramon goes Zach Wilson, Isaiah Wilson, Johnny Manziel, and Tate Martell. And I go Ryan Leaf, Greg Oden, Trey Lance, and Darko Milicic. To the phones. Where do we miss? 615-737-1045. Daryl in the Burrows first up.
Morning, Daryl.
Hey, morning, y'all.
Morning. What's going on for us, man?
Happy Friday, Junior.
Yes, sir.
I had about 3 that I wanted to throw out there, if that's all right.
Okay.
I can't believe y'all. I mean, I know you took Darko because of the LeBron draft, but I got to go with Sam Bowie over MJ.
Sam Bowie's a great one.
Crazy.
Sam Bowie is a great pick.
Crazy, man.
Yeah, the Kentucky finest up there. Kentucky, sorry. Got it wrong. Sorry. And then Hasheem Thabeet for the Grizzlies.
Big time.
And then last one, high schooler coming out. He was the LeBron before LeBron, basically, Sebastian Telfair.
Yeah.
Another good one.
I remember watching that whole ascension that he was on, man. Legitimately was supposed to be one of the greatest ever. Got dribbles, got size, could get above the rim, could shoot, and then nothing. Crazy, man. And a crazy finish, to his personal life, too.
It's good picks, Daryl. Appreciate it. Good stuff.
All right,
Appreciate it.
Yep. Daryl DeBurrow. Undrafted picks.
Yeah. Would you consider Sam Bowie as a bust because he was drafted ahead of Michael, or because his career, he played, 12-ish seasons or something like that?
He averaged 11 points per game as a guy who got picked before
terrible.
Michael Jordan.
But
he's a bust.
Didn't meet expectations. And then the 2 guys that he was in between, too. We're talking about Akeem Olajuwon and Michael Jordan.
Yeah, he's bust. He's a bust.
He's not quite Darko territory, but he's close.
He went before Charles Barkley.
I think part of this, too, is who went right after you.
That's true.
Like, who could you have had instead? And, Sam Bowie compared to Michael Jordan and Hakeem Olajuwon.
Not it.
Not great.
No, not at all.
Not great.
I got one more on my list that didn't make it, my undrafted.
Okay.
Tim Couch.
Yeah, it's another good one.
Tim Couch, man.
Another good one.
The Browns' first franchise, on the list of Cleveland Browns jerseys at quarterback, there's Tim Couch at the top of it. Fizzled the heck out. I never forget, my middle school football coach was one of the first people I ever saw in a Cleveland Browns jersey, and he was so hyped about Tim Couch, and absolutely nothing came of it at all. So should we start calling Cleveland's quarterback curse the Couch curse? We got to have a name for it at this point.
He kind of led them off.
At Nebraska, though?
He went 22-37 in his career, completed 59.8% of his passes, 64 touchdowns, 67 picks. Selected number 1 overall in 1999 out of Kentucky.
Wow.
Not great. Also on my list, I had Jake Locker. Sad. Local angle. Former Titan.
That's fair.
Retired very early. Never really even showed the flashes that Vince Young showed as the starter. His main season playing for the Titans was 2012. Took him to 4-7 in his 11 starts, completed 56% of his passes, 10 touchdowns, 11 interceptions for just over 2,000 yards. That was the best season in Jake Locker's 4-year NFL career after being selected number 8 overall in the 2011 NFL draft. Nico Imaliava. Almost my last pick. But I went around the bitterness in my heart and did not pick Nico. Nico has not close to lived up to what I think a lot of people thought he would be. I think the plan originally was for Nico to start for 2 years and be in this past year's NFL draft, and he is still at UCLA.
Yeah, he is.
Now, Bob Chesney is kind of cooking on the recruiting trail over there, very quietly at UCLA. They may be better this year. That being said, as of today, Nico Imaliava is a bust.
Yeah, no doubt.
So I had him on the list, did not pick him. That's kind of all I had, honestly. Those are my 2 big ones that I had on my list that I didn't get to.
Yeah.
Did y'all say Josh Rosen?
No, not yet.
Josh Rosen,
another
that's a good one.
Number 10 overall pick for the Arizona Cardinals.
That's a good one.
Work out. Trent Richardson, running back, Alabama.
Oh, how did Trent Richardson or Eddie Lacy, either of those two guys, not get
Eddie
picked?
Lacy.
Trent Richardson's a great
Here's an
pick.
oldie but a goodie, but an offensive lineman, Tony Mandrick. I hope I'm saying it
Tony
correctly.
Mandrick.
1989, number 2 overall pick for the Green Bay Packers. Highly regarded as one of the best prospects during that.
Guy.
Yeah, and just did not play well at all. Got beat all the time.
Real quick, well, let's linger on Trent Richardson for a moment. How many career rushing yards do you think Trent Richardson had?
We'll go right over 2,000.
Give me a specific number, both of you.
2,128.
1828.
Ramon was remarkably close.
Are you serious?
2,032.
Wow.
Okay.
Career rushing yard. I mean, you did play against him, to be fair. You saw him on the other side of the field. He did have 11 touchdowns as a rookie with the Cleveland Browns in 2012, and he finished his career with 17 total touchdowns. Remember where he finished his career? I did not remember this.
Oakland.
No.
There's a picture of him. If you look him up there, he's got
He
an Oakland
seems like a
jersey.
Dallas guy.
Must be a practice guy.
Indianapolis.
He finished with the Colts?
Finished his career with the Colts, 2013 and 2014.
Was he on the Raiders practice squad? Because if you look him up, he's got a jersey.
Had to have been.
He had to have been
been.
preseason stuff.
Because they don't put that on Football Reference.
Third overall selection.
Patrick in Lebanon on busts. What's up, Patrick?
What's up, Patrick?
What's up, boys?
Morning.
Obviously, the biggest bust is Isaiah Wilson. I cannot stand him for what he did to us. And then on top of that, look him up. Look up the story if you don't know. Carter Stewart that got drafted by the Braves. I think that was in 2019 and ended up, I think he was the number 8 overall pick.
Yeah.
Ended up just being like, nah, I don't want to play for you. I'm going to Japan.
I forgot about him.
And then Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll do it right
That's all I
there.
got for you, boys.
Appreciate that, man, Pat.
I like it, Patrick.
Project Pat.
Y'all are the boys.
Thank you, Patrick.
That's more like Taylor them, right? The
I'm gonna
boys.
save that one.
Yeah, if I didn't talk over him right there. Did you know much about Carter Stewart, Will?
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
Played at Mississippi State.
Picked him, got hurt, never played a second, even for the organization. Just never even signed.
Yeah, he was.
And they picked him top 10. So they did get that pick back. Because when you have a pick like that doesn't sign, I think that's like protected in the top 10 maybe or top 15. You get the pick back the next year.
Okay.
And so then they picked Shea Langeliers with the next year's pick. And he has turned out to be amazing. Shea Langeliers was the centerpiece of the Matt Olson trade.
Man, he chose to go overseas to pitch instead of the MLB.
I think he had to.
He
It's his only choice.
I thought Pat was saying he chose to go over.
Yeah, it's not great. Not great. As far as baseball busts go, I just Googled this to see. Mickey Moniak is a really big one. Yeah. Mickey's still playing. He's fine, but he was a big-time prospect. You just don't hear about as many of those because there is an inherent risk when you take high schoolers.
Yes, it is.
Where you take them. But Mickey Moniak, I'd say, is the biggest one I could think of. Now starting for the Rockies, where he's been pretty good this year, hitting 280. Chris up next. What's up, Chris?
What's going on, guys? I commented on Twitter, but Vince Young.
Yeah.
Is he a bust, or does his rookie year buy him a pass?
I think that's kind of gray area, Chris, to be honest with you, because his rookie season was so good. I think you talk more about busts. You're talking about players.
It was nothing.
Yeah, you're talking about players who were never even that good to begin with when you talk about busts. I'd put him somewhere in the middle.
I think he's bottom tier bust because, again, he had an extended career, went on to start a little bit more. But as far as projection, yeah. I had a lot of people put him in the same conversation. I felt like it's Jadeveon Clowney. Like, you don't call him a bust.
I was going to say him too. He's had a career, but not what he was projected.
Not the phenom side that they were projected at, right?
Sure. Thank you for the call, Chris. Appreciate you.
Yeah, that rookie of the year for him, I think, kind of buys him grace.
He's a Madden cover guy.
Yeah, it buys him grace for sure.
David in Lebanon, the last call on draft busts. What's up, David?
What's up, David?
Not much. I got a funny one, but any guy that's my age in their 40s or early 50s, he's going to get rich off of the Greg Jeffries, his rookie card. And I've got some of those, and I'm yet to be rich. So that's it. Thanks.
When did you realize that the bubble had popped?
What's that?
I said, when did you realize that the bubble had popped on Greg Jeffries?
I was kind of young and I still was dreaming, but it just progressively got worse. And so, yep. So I've got several of those laying around somewhere. Don't know where, but maybe one day. And I don't know. I laugh about it anytime I see that. Anyway, thanks, guys.
No doubt
appreciate
about
it. Thanks for the call, Dave.
Hey, the cards game, man, is tricky. It's very tricky.
Unless you were like a fan of teams too, on like baseball busts. Like I know the Carter Stewart story because I'm a big Braves fan, but you don't even get to meet these guys.
No, you don't.
Before they end up becoming major busts, for sure.
Greg Jeffries, the first round, the 20th overall selection in '85.
Yeah,
he did play 14 years.
Yeah, he did.
Not bad.
He
He was a 2-time All-Star.
Matt Bush, that's the one I'm thinking of in baseball. That's the huge one. Yeah, okay.
Matt Bush.
Matt Bush was number 1 overall pick in 2004. Hit 192 without a home run at rookie ball and low A. Then hit 221 in Class A and then turned into a pitcher. Never great when you're the number 1 overall pick as a hitter, and then they say, you know what? How about you try throwing it from the mound?
I actually saw him pitch.
615-737-1045, real quick.
Freddie Adu? Bust?
Yeah, I honestly, Freddie Adu is a major one. As a guy who was supposed to be like the next great thing in U.S. soccer, I just didn't think that enough people on our draft graphic would relate to that. Be like, oh, here's Will making it about soccer again. So I didn't go that direction. But Freddie Adu is a great pick.
Freddie Adu.
I remember him on the Got Milk posters in elementary school.
I had a jersey.
You had a Freddie Adu jersey?
Yeah.
Was it a U.S. jersey or a D.C. jersey?
I think it was, so I played in Dixon. I played for a travel club, DC United, so it's probably DC United.
Okay. Coming up, Tyler Tanner's headed back to Vanderbilt. What it means for Mark Byington's Commodores after this.
Go the boys!
Buying or selling in the Nashville real estate market is a big challenge. And if you want to take that leap of faith, you got to do so with a proven real estate agent and team with a track record of getting results and results on all the little stuff. Bernie Gallerani is that person for you. What's going on? It's Will Bowling. Bernie Gallerani guarantees to sell your home in 30 days or less, or he'll buy it. Yeah, there's no risk to you. Bernie Gallerani will let you out of the contract at any time. He is the real estate agent who has the 30-day guarantee to sell your home. So if you need to buy and sell simultaneously, but you're worried about taking that leap of faith financially, take it with Bernie Gallerani. Call him at 615-428-2644, or you can head online to BernieGallerani.com to find out more about how his team can help you. Get the 30-day guarantee by calling Bernie Gallerani at 615-428-2644 or heading online to BernieGallerani.com.
8:04. Good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Carolina Hurricanes shut out the Montreal Canadiens 4-0 in Game 4 last night, taking a 3-1 series lead in the Eastern Conference Finals. The Hurricanes now 1 win away from their first trip to the Stanley Cup Final since 2006 when they beat Edmonton in 7 games to win the Cup. Game 5 is tomorrow night back in Raleigh. Tonight, NBA Western Conference Finals, Game 6, San Antonio between the Thunder and Spurs, with the Thunder leading the series 3-2. The chance to return to the NBA Finals on the line for the Thunder in consecutive seasons. Tip-off tonight is at 7:30 on NBC. In Titans news, the team announced yesterday that they have signed first-round draft pick Keldrick Faulk to his rookie contract. The edge rusher out of Auburn, selected 31st overall, was the last member of the Titans' 8 draft picks selected in 2026 to sign. And in college basketball news, Vanderbilt point guard Tyler Tanner is officially headed back to Vanderbilt as he's withdrawing his name from the NBA draft. It was announced yesterday. Tanner averaged 19.5 points and 5.1 assists per game last season, leading the SEC. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Thursday morning continues here on Ramon Will into the second half of the show and hour number 3. Easton Freeze will talk Titans with us at 9:20. And here in 15 minutes, Bill Bender of the Sporting News will talk some college football with us, making sense of the congressional intervention that was made yesterday. That is probably not going to end up happening, but is interesting in the Protect College Sports Act. We'll talk about that with Bill. We'll talk about the upcoming season as well, because there is still football that's going to be played in August and September, and October, November, December, into a lot of January. That's not long term in 2028 and beyond when things are being changed. Ramon Foster, Will Bowling, Justin Hawkins here in studio. Tyler Tanner's coming back to Vanderbilt basketball, announcing yesterday that he will pull out of the NBA draft. He will come back to Mark Byington's Commodores, where as a sophomore, he led Vanderbilt with 19.5 points per game, 5.1 assists, 2.4 steals per contest. Big deal for Vanderbilt yesterday, Ramon.
A real big deal, man, and kudos to them for being able to lock him back in and him also understanding where he is in his career as well. Being able to go through the entire NBA combine, I'm sure was an eye-opener. From my understanding and talking to Ron Slay, a.k.a. Savage, they give you a breakdown on what you need to work on and focus on moving forward, too. So I'm interested to see how his game changes at Vanderbilt this year. I don't think there's much that needs to be changed about his game other than probably just a little bit more efficiency, attacking, or maybe they want to be a little bit more of a facilitator instead of a scorer. Who knows what they told him, but the fact that he came back does nothing but strengthen up Vandy to keep their athletic department as healthy as it's ever been. So to the Commodores, man, enjoy this. This is big time right here. Between he and Michaela Blakes, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better duo in college basketball as far as representation goes.
And just still, too, with the other guys they've added to the men's team as well. I mean, Bengot Doc.
Yes.
Coming from Colorado, the big man, ace class, the transfer they get from Washington State. Obviously, you get Chandler Bing back. You get the transfer from Nebraska, who was part of the team that kept you from the second weekend of the NCAA tournament. High expectations for Mark Byington and a top 25 transfer class. I think they're going to be a similar team to what they were last year. I mean, they project as a team that should absolutely expect to be in the Sweet 16, should be right there in the mix at the top of the SEC, be angling for that double bye. Basketball in the state's going to be strong.
Yes, it is.
It's going to be really strong. Tyler Tanner comes with all-American level potential and expectations again. We mentioned when he was kind of in limbo of drafts or transfer portal or coming back to Vandy and hadn't announced it yet. Vanderbilt, if you want to be really taken seriously at the adults table, you get deals like this over the line. You get it done. And you did.
You did.
And you deserve credit for that.
No doubt about it.
Now comes time to get to the second weekend of the NCAA tournament.
It's
at least.
Yeah, for sure. It's just that the SEC basketball, we speaking a lot about what football is, but the basketball side of this thing is going to have a lot of stressful evenings for college basketball coaches too. I didn't realize until listening to 3HL and last week when they were talking to Patrick Young of SEC Network, Denzel Aberdeen went back to Florida. Like, these are the things that you're up against right now.
Florida is the preseason favorite to win the SEC.
I mean,
I'd say Tennessee's right behind them.
I know we've bragged about the Vols being like a top 5 team, and I do think they can be that good as well.
I think they probably will be.
Florida is in that conversation. Arkansas is in that conversation.
Florida might be preseason number 1.
Yeah. And everybody will understand it. To retain everybody that they did, and not only just that, LSU, I mean, it's the elephant in the room with what they've done with their roster, with this older professional group that they have. Like, it's one thing for Tyler Tanner to go and, dip his toe in the NBA combine. No, these guys were overseas pros and got age. And maturity that you got to deal with when it comes down to this SEC play. I think it was crucial for Tyler to come back for sure, because if the information wasn't as good, he's probably making more money at Vanderbilt while being in school than he would be as a second-round selection at this point.
Right.
I do question what it's going to take to bump him to the first round, though. That would be phenomenal for him.
And, ahead of LSU, I'd mention a number of teams before I mentioned LSU as being at the top. I think LSU is further away. I think Texas, with the number 3 class in the country in transfers, is going to be right up there. Texas A&M has put together a really good class, and Bucky McMillan, I think, is one of the better X's and O's coaches in this league. He has had money to spend. Kentucky still will be good. I don't think they're going to be good for Kentucky standards, but if they're able to get Milan Momcilovic, obviously that would change things significantly, and wherever he goes. He, as one of the top 5 players in the portal, could change things. Obviously, Alabama is always going to be Alabama, and their job of retention that they've done. South Carolina has made a lot of additions. I know they've been down, but South Carolina is going to be better. I think Missouri is going to be better. Auburn, Stephen Pearl trying to bounce back from an NIT championship. Georgia has got money to spend. That was an NCAA tournament team this past year. You were going to look back at 2026 as a quote-unquote down year for the SEC. I think things are going to be a little bit more like they were in 24 and 25 in the conference, where there's just not a gimme away from home in the league. And Tennessee is a very big part of that, because I'd put Tennessee probably up there in the first tier of teams.
Top tier 1.
With Florida, with Arkansas, maybe Texas, and Alabama.
Yeah, absolutely. That's Auburn and Pearl take that jump, though, too. That's
I don't think they do.
They will be better, I feel like, more than likely.
I don't think they do.
But what is he like as a second-year coach now that this is his roster? That's the other part, though, too, with the issues that Auburn had last year. That wasn't – I don't think those players expected young Pearl to be their coach. I just don't think that was the case, because the way Bruce left, he kind of facilitated that passing of the torch to his son. Now, with the guys that he's chosen to bring in and guys that choose to stick around for him, I wonder what they look like. Is it better order? Because last year he was – I know in the Tennessee game, he showed us behind in a way that I don't think a coach should have. Like, he was angry, and you should never be angry as a coach, especially when you're going into a hostile environment like he did in Knoxville. Yeah. As much as trash as he's talked to, like, you can't be mad because of they get back at you with what you said about the Vols.
Jeff Borzillo put out a top 25 that was way too early a month ago. This was before Juke Harris officially became a Vol. At that point, he had Florida as the preseason number 1 team in the country, with everyone that they're bringing back, and Thomas Houck and Alex Condon, Ruben Chinyelu back. I mean, they are fully loaded again. Again, before Juke Harris, so take it for what it's worth. I think Tennessee probably top 5 with Juke Harris. Arkansas comes in at number 6 in this poll. Again, this was a month ago. Jeremiah Wilkinson, the big name they bring in from Georgia, and among others that they bring in, and Jordan Smith, the number 2 player in ESPN's high school rankings.
Wow.
Their big-time addition. Texas, number 7 within this, with Isaiah Johnson, the point guard out of Colorado, Elijah Freeman, who transfers from Auburn, David Punch from TCU, Matas Vokatitis is back. Wow. Alabama's top 10, Aiden Holloway is back. Jackson Richardson's a 5-star. Drew Fielder comes in from Boise State. Brandon Garrison transfers from Kentucky. Amari Allen is back for Alabama. And they had Tennessee at 11. And that was before Juke Harris.
Yeah.
So with Juke Harris, you'd think Tennessee probably goes from 11 to top 5, probably right in front of Arkansas.
You know what I love in all of this? SEC fans never forget to be petty. Vandy Man in our chat says, I mean, not saying much, UK is a dumpster destination now. Imagine Vanderbilt calling Kentucky a dumpster destination.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Welcome to NIL, baby.
I wouldn't call it dumpster. It's not the Palace. It's not the 5-star hotel it used to be, but it's not a motel either. It's still a good place to go play basketball.
I guess they got to commend. Ace Glass chose Vandy over UK recently, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I mentioned him as the Washington State transfer.
A dumpster destination is what they're calling it.
For what it's worth, Vandy was ranked 13th in this top 25 with Tyler Tanner in the projected starting lineup from Jeff Borzello a month ago.
Hey, V-Man, talk your trash, baby. That's what I'm talking about. It's offseason. You can talk as much as you want to right now. Talk your trash.
Coming up, how does the Protect College Sports Act potentially facilitate change in college athletics? And what in the world is going on with college football playoff expansion? We'll talk about that with Bill Bender of the Sporting News, hit some of the headlines as well on the football field in the short term as well, in the SEC and Big Ten, with Bill Bender coming up after this. Hey, it's Will Bowling. I love talking about Fleet Feet Nashville because I have been a Fleet Feet customer since I was in high school. As a former SEC distance runner, I know the value of having the right fit, not just the right shoes, the right brand, but the exact technology that you need, whether that's the inserts, whether that's the type of shoe within a brand that you know you love. Fleet Feet Nashville has locations all around Middle Tennessee to help you. And they also have a great running community to help you as well. And next Wednesday, June 3rd, check out the Big Run. Celebrate Global Running Day with Fleet Feet Nashville and Brooks at a free 5K at Geodis Park. They're celebrating Global Running Day with a free community 5K Wednesday, June 3rd at 6:30 p.m., hosted by Fleet Feet Nashville. Not just a race, but a celebration of 50 years of Fleet Feet and the running community. All ages, all paces, runners and walkers are welcome. That's the best part. Whether you are competing or whether you are just trying to get back out there on the roads, Fleet Feet can help you. You can check out more about the Big Run at fleetfeetnashville.com. Again, that's Fleet Feet Nashville online at fleetfeetnashville.com. Ramon Will continues here on 104.5 The Zone in studio on your Thursday morning in Hour 3. Ramon Foster and Will Bowling. Pleased to be joined by our good friend Bill Bender of the Sporting News, covering college football, college sports at Bill Bender 92, where you get him on Twitter. Bill, what's up? Good morning. How are you?
Hey, not too much. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Glad to have you with us. And we need as many brains as we can get on making sense of all of the headlines, Bill, over the last week, as I'm sure you know, with expansion, with Greg Sankey saying SEC meetings are overhyped, which I feel like we'll be the judge of that, with everything going on. And now with the Protect College Sports Act, which is put out as a bipartisan bill yesterday. I wanted to start there, though, Bill. What stands out to you? What's realistic and what's unrealistic about the Protect College Sports Act, which dropped yesterday?
The portal. The portal revisions and then the 5 years, which I am a proponent of 5 years. I think what is one of the complaints we always hear from average college football fan is, why is there a seventh-year guy that's played for 5 schools? Part of me knows, hey, they're free to transfer, and you've opened this rule, so kids are going to take advantage of it to get playing time, get their film, and those kind of things. So I'm empathetic to that. But I also think when you're getting paid to develop for the next level, and one of the things I've had trouble squaring away, we don't know the actual numbers in some cases, but in what profession do you get paid more at the lower level than you do the higher level? There are very few in this world. But then the clapback I get back on that is, well, like let's use Jeremiah Smith, for example. Does Jeremiah Smith mean more to Ohio State than he would for an NFL enterprise? And there's something to be said for that argument. But I think this is this act, or this proposal is one way to curb those two things, which are among the long list of things that probably do need revised in college football.
It's so interesting, Bill, as you look at this, that so many of the things that SEC head coaches are complaining about this week at spring meetings are in here as rules, as regulations, as finally having somebody who can enforce these rules with the College Sports Commission. And then there's the poison pill, so to speak, but you can't form a super league and you can't pull your media rights together unless you have got 104 teams. And of course, there are 34 SEC and Big Ten teams. And you need 75% of 138, which is 103.5 in order to do this. So what kind of influence in your mind, Bill, does the Big Ten and SEC have to keep this from happening? Because it does feel like this, if it were to pass, would take away a lot of the power that Greg Sankey, Tony Petitti, and these two conferences have worked to gain over the past few years.
Well, I mean, when have the ACC, Big 12, SEC, and Big Ten ever been on the same page? The exact same page. I mean, as you guys know, I live in Central Ohio. I'm in the heart of Big Ten country. And one of the things that college football over the last 25 years has done has made it a national sport. It has. Let's be honest. When I was growing up, south of Columbus, I'm not saying this in a bad way, but we didn't really pay attention to the SEC. You didn't have it on TV all the time, right? Like you had Ohio State at noon, Notre Dame at 3:30, and there weren't really primetime games growing up. But so that's what I like about college football. It has grown my interest in the SEC as a fan, as in the ACC and the Big 12. And I believe this after researching this week. And you saw that study that, if we were in a 24-team playoff the last 12 years, 80 schools would have made it. By the way, a lot of those schools were from the old Pac-12. I think the old Pac-12 would still be around. But it's trying to square those things away as well, that how do we maintain a national sport with its regional followings? I know you guys got to be the same, right? You pay more attention to the SEC than the Big Ten your whole life, but because it's national, it's brought the Big Ten into your living room a little more.
It has. We're joined by Bill Bender of the Sporting News this morning. Bill, one part of this, man, is just the business side of what they're proposing in Congress right now. For me, on the player side, I legitimately am looking at the compensation for agents and the involvement and having a database that have above board and certified agents. Have you heard of some of these horror stories being in Big Ten country that people are using Ohio State or Michigan or Penn State to leverage for their players as much as we have in the SEC?
Yeah, and I think so. And you hear about renegotiating during the season.
Yeah.
Like I've heard stories about that. Like let's use a running back, for example, has 300 yards in the first 3 or 4 games. He wants a new contract. And, I think one of the things that this phrase collective bargaining gets used over and over again. The NFL has an NFLPA, right? The NFL represents the players. Who represents the college football players in all of these discussions? They need to have a voice. Whether they get everything they want, I don't know. Does NIL need to change in terms of its function and what it really means? Maybe. Or do we just get to the point where, you always get asked, hey, if I was the commissioner of college football, well, one of the things I would do is maybe when you come to a school, you sign a 2-year contract and you're an employee, but that helps reduce the transfer rate. That gives coaches 2 years to develop you. And to me, it would be no different than a little different, but similar to a rookie contract in the NFL.
It is. Bill, do you think that a college conference can survive on its own? Because that's what Kirby Smart has kind of alluded to at Georgia, that the SEC will just break away. As long as we're making money, we'll subsidize everything and just make it happen. Do you think that's possible for those 2 big conferences, or do you kind of shrink the market and make it, basically AFC and NFC, and you don't really intermingle with anybody else at that point?
It'd be tough because you lose a lot of that national following. People on the West Coast aren't going to follow an SEC-only league.
Right.
They'll find other things to do in Los Angeles. There are a lot of things to do in Los Angeles that they maybe not tune into the Auburn-Ole Miss game. Same with the Big Ten. One of the things the Big Ten has done successfully, and whether you're a traditionalist or not, it's a coast-to-coast league. I made the joke. One of my groomsmen in my wedding was a Michigan State grad, and I sent him a text at I think when they played USC and it was 11 p.m. Eastern time kickoff, and I was texting him at 2 a.m. I was like, this is what you've always dreamed of, right? That kind of thing. But they have created a coast-to-coast noon to 2 in the morning league. And I think, to me, I like seeing the Big 12 and the ACC survive. I like the playoff. I would prefer a 16-team playoff. I think a 16-team playoff brings everybody in that should be in. For example, last year, if we're at 16, BYU, Notre Dame, Vandy, and Texas would get in. And I'll sign up for that. I'd watch, Vandy versus Ohio State in the first round. That would have been fun. But, that's the kind of thing I'm getting at. But you still have to include if you don't include, if it's only 32 teams, I think the interest, in theory, it sounds fun, but I think the interest would drop.
Bill Bender, the Sporting News, our guest this morning, talking college football on Ramon and Will. To that point then, expanding on the expansion topic with the college football playoff, what do you think the side effects would be of a 24-team playoff? How would that help maybe in some small ways and hurt in more ways college football?
Well, the help is you get more teams in. Like I mentioned, the 80 teams that got in. So the coaches want this in large part because it's job security. Penn State would have been in the playoffs 7 times the last 12 years.
Wow.
That means Franklin's probably still their coach.
Yep.
Probably. Iowa would be in 6 times. And you would have more teams, more participation. I think eventually, I've heard enough of 24 that I'm thinking we're eventually going to go there.
Right.
But, the trade-off is you have an NFL-like regular season. I think rivalry week gets tossed around a little bit. I made the comparison. Ramon would know this as well. I've watched the Packers sit their starters in Week 18. I've watched the Steelers and Bengals play a Week 18 game where they kind of dance around for a quarter and then, we're in the wild card the next week. Yeah. And one of the dangers of that, not to use the Steelers here as an example, but a couple years ago, the Browns and Steelers, the Steelers win, I think, both the regular season games. The Browns win the playoff game. Yeah. You're going to remember the playoff game more than the regular season game at every turn. And for me as a Packers fan, there's only one playoff game there's only one game I remember from last year, and it's the one where Caleb Williams was making all those plays.
It's well put, though, too. And in this sport where it is a Saturday sport, like this is a regular season played in campuses, not respectfully, sterile NFL stadium sport. Mike Elko put it perfectly. When do we become a trophy sport? The other day in talking about this. So it is interesting to me, Bill, when you look at then the next steps of how we get to a place that makes sense. And we got this question yesterday, and we gave our answer, and I'm curious where you fall in this too. But for the argument of, well, look at FCS and look at what they do, and as big of a playoff and postseason as they have, why does that work for the FCS and it not work in your mind for FBS football?
One, from a logistical purpose. I mean, you can play. I would ask the listener back, okay, how many FCS playoff teams can you name? Right. I mean, can we all, there's a different interest level. I'm not insulting the FCS. I think, North Dakota State obviously bumped up. That corner of the country has some amazing FCS football, by the way, and they're sending guys to the NFL. Seattle had several FCS players on their roster last year. So, but I would say the field itself, it's a little bit different. I do think one of the things that we need to do, whether it's 16 or 24, I mean, what postseason lasts 50 days? It's a 7-week postseason. That's too long. And I think next year we're going on January 25th for a title game. A couple of years ago, I covered that Tennessee-Ohio State game in the playoff, and I felt like 40 days later, I'm still working, and it's crazy that the postseason lasts that long with college kids. We can't pretend to say they're amateurs when you make them play a season that goes from the middle of August through almost February at this point. So, yeah, I would say that's the difference. And there's a lot more interest, I think. And you're dealing with more guys, more players that are going to play in the NFL. I think that's how are you going to sell playing 5 playoff games to a potential first-round pick? Let me ask you guys a question. Do you think if you got a potential first-round pick on the 22nd seed in a 2014 playoff, that guy might consider opting out if they were like 28-point underdogs?
Yeah.
He done. He's gone.
I mean, losing Tennessee is the example last year. Yeah. I mean, Colton Hood and Jermon McCoy of 2 guys that were supposed to be first-round picks. I know Jermon McCoy had all the injury stuff, but Jermon McCoy was kind of on the fence, Bill, for some of the November games, and I don't know how much you followed that story here locally for Tennessee, and then was like, well, is it really worth playing one game when you're already injured? Like, I don't know if Jermon McCoy's coming back as a Tennessee if they beat Vandy and are the 20 seed in the college football playoff. I think it's a great point.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, my opinion switched on that the year that, and I know there was other factors with COVID, but when Jamar Chase and Micah Parsons opted out of the season, everybody, NFL, I think both of those guys are doing okay at the next level. Right. So, I mean, I don't know that the NFL cares as much other than, you would get questions, why didn't you compete in that game? But it would end pretty quickly when you realize that it's the business side of the sport.
No doubt. I'm joined by Bill Bender of the Sporting News this morning, too. Bill, like you bring up that question, like the money side of it and just the regulations as well. I know in SEC country, we've joked for years about, hey, Alabama's already been handing out Dodge Chargers. And, I mean, if you look at the arrest report down in Athens, Georgia for the Georgia Bulldogs, they have too, right? The money exchange has been happening. How much of this do you think the coaches actually want? Because when you speak about the CBA and tampering, the only tampering happens in one window, and that's free agency for guys who are about to be unrestricted free agents. Bill, can college coaches operate without cheating? That's the other part with this CBA. Can they say, this is our budget, we're not going over it? Or is this just in the DNA of what college sports are?
Yeah, I bet if you gave them some of these coaches truth serum, they would rather go back to the old way, the old quote unquote ways of which have been like glamorized, right? You talk about the old days of the Southwest Conference. Some of those stories are legendary about Eric Dickerson's Gold Trans Am and things like that. I think one of the things that they didn't anticipate, and Nick, you could hear Nick Saban talking about this. You've heard coaches talk about this. The player that comes in and tries to renegotiate during the season, that was something they didn't have to deal with in the past. That all of that was off the field. And again, like you said, whether it's tampering or negotiating contracts, this is a piece of the sport that's very different. Tampering to me is real simple. And I know Pete Golding had some comments about it. I think you punish the coaches and you punish the wallet. then it won't happen as much. In the NFL, they take draft picks. Teams don't like losing draft picks. And I think when you have those kind of things happen, it would deter coaches from doing it. But like you said, it is in the DNA of the sport. Sometimes it's fun. Some of the stories are great, but I don't see that stopping.
What would you rather have a cap on real quick? The overall age of a guy that might be coming into the college at 23 and might end at 28, or the number of years? Which one is the better evil?
I think I'd have the cap on the number of years, right? Like, and I say that tongue in cheek though, because I'm excited to see Trinidad Chambliss play a 6th year. He's one of the better quarterbacks in college football this year, if not the top quarterback. And I do want to account for, the kid that tears his ACL, has a horrific injury. Sometimes you've had players that have had cancer and things like that. Right. And you want to see them have the opportunity to play when horrible circumstances happen. So, I still think you can get done what you need to get done in 5 years, and then you don't have the 27, 26-year-old quarterback playing college football when they could be playing the NFL. And another thing to think about, those guys are going to stay in college longer if they're getting paid versus being a practice squad linebacker for the Minnesota Vikings. You're going to see more and more of that.
Bill Bender 92, where you get Bill's work on Twitter. Sporting News senior writer. Bill, it is Preview Magazine season. We are just under 100 days until college football is played. We can stop talking about all the bigger picture stuff, and I can't wait to get there. Tell the people what you have on deck here coming up in the next few days as we get to previewing the actual games and teams themselves.
Yeah, I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek. So this will be on newsstands tomorrow.
Nice.
Sporting News brought back its Preview Magazine. It's yellow. You can't miss it. And it's got Arch on the cover, of course, because we need to sell magazines. But it's back. We haven't had it for a few years, the Preview Mag. And that's that one that as we get into summer and you want to go to the beach and, read something. I love magazine season. I love reading the team previews. It's put together really well. And it hits newsstands tomorrow. You can find it at any local store, bookstore, those type places.
Looks good.
Absolutely, man.
Looking forward to it. Bill Bender, our guest. Bill, thank you as always for the time. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Bill.
Hey, anytime. Have a great week.
Thank you, sir. Bill Bender with us. Sporting News. Check out the Preview Magazine coming out tomorrow. Yeah. I love magazine season in college football.
Seeing those in the book section of the grocery store takes you back, man, most definitely. I grab one of them.
It does.
When Athline Sports. Yeah. Them and I do a Lowrider magazine.
Nice.
Those are my favorites right there.
Fantastic. Bill's great.
He is great.
Good breakdown.
Stuff by him.
Yep. 615-737-1045 is our number. Coming up, we know the game times for the first 3 games of the season in the SEC, and an athletic director has a lot of complaints about it. Plus, FanDuel put out some odds for some games of the year in college football. We'll play Whose Line Is It Anyway? See if we can guess what some point spreads are for some early season college football games after this. Put League Company on your team and stay ahead of the game with home maintenance, repairs, and more. What's up? It's Will Boulding. For as little as $14 a month, you can become a League Company Plus member and receive 4 annual visits to your home for your heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical systems. Even better, League Company Plus members receive 20% off on all repairs and enjoy priority service. You can learn more online at leaguecompany.com/plus. You get a deal, you get priority service, you get the experience of a company that has been in business for over 80 years in Middle Tennessee. League Company's been trusted here since 1944. They're available 24/7 the moment something doesn't work. And with over 1,800 team members and 15 community locations, they are a staple here in the Middle Tennessee community. So put the very best players on your team today by heading online to leaguecompany.com/plus. That's League Company, all you need. Wrapping up hour 3 on your Thursday morning. Ramon and Will, 615-737-1045, our number. Easton Freeze coming up in a half hour. So kickoff times are out for the first 3 weeks of the college football season in the SEC. And the full game window designations will be announced, Ramon, on June 10th. So then we will know noon, early afternoon, night, or flex.
It's what date again? I was reading something real good.
June 10th.
June 10th, okay. All right. The full schedule and timing.
Most of the time. Between noon, early afternoon, night, or flex.
Yeah, gotcha.
Josh Heupel's 5th season opens with a late afternoon start. Tennessee will host Furman on September 5th at 2:30 Central. That is the SEC Network Plus game for Tennessee. Every one of the SEC's got to have one. Mm-hmm. Tennessee will get its SEC Plus game out of the way week 1. Georgia Tech will be a night game. Bobby Dodd Stadium in Atlanta, September 12th, a 6 p.m. Central start on ESPN. And Kennesaw State, the Owls, September 19th, 6:45 Central, night game, SEC Network.
Fall's got a prime time ESPN game with Georgia Tech. That is going to be lights out.
Could be fun.
On campus as well for Georgia Tech.
That's right. Be a lot of orange in the building, but yes.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That's second home right there. That's a lot of my good teammates came from out of Georgia. So I know they're going to represent. I know at the kickoff last year against Syracuse, at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, that was a big reunion of Vols fans too. So I can.
That was a Tennessee home game.
It was yes, it was very unfair to Syracuse.
Very much a Tennessee home game in Atlanta.
Absolutely, dog. But good times though. Vols are a primetime team still. There we go.
Hunter Yurachek had a fiery letter that he put on Twitter yesterday after his Arkansas Razorbacks were given their first 3 start times. Kickoffs for the first 3 weeks of the season released, and the Arkansas AD has the North Alabama Lions coming to town September 5th at 3:15 Central. It will then travel to Utah for the following week for a game against the Utes, which will kick off at 9:15 p.m. Central. They then return to Fayetteville for an SEC opener against Georgia, which is a noon game the next week. Hunter Yurachek on Twitter says, I am extremely concerned and displeased about the recently released kickoff times for our football program in consecutive weeks and the impact it will have on the well-being of our student athletes. Oh. ESPN has set our game for Utah at 9:15 Central, September 12th. We anticipate getting back to campus approximately at 6 a.m. on Sunday, September 13th, followed by an 11 a.m. home kickoff against Georgia just 6 days later on September the 19th. The assigned schedule will cost our student athletes nearly a full day of rest and recovery that they would otherwise have had available to them. This is not simply a competitive disadvantage. It is a genuine welfare issue for the young men who represent our program and contribute greatly to the bottom line of our television partners. This type of scheduling is unacceptable and demonstrated a clear neglect for the well-being of college athletes. Hunter Yurachek, Arkansas Athletic Director.
Stop the whining. Stop the complaining. You should have considered this. Hunter is his first name?
Hunter Yurachek, yes.
When you took the deal. This is a part of it. This is why the NBA on ESPN crew also said what they said about ESPN. You're not going to give me all of that money and work me all of those hours. Charles Barkley was right. This is what happens when you take the check. The well-being of the players, I get that. NFL players play the same schedule. You said the SEC is as close to the NFL as almost any other conference. You can't complain after the fact.
I mean, they could give up the TV money, I guess.
Give it back.
Yeah.
I dare you.
Just give back some of the big ESPN check.
Give it back.
Then you can play whatever you want.
You can play whatever you want. Right. Do the Razorback Network at this point.
If you're scared, just say so.
Just say so.
Yeah.
Like, don't hit me with the well-being of this when y'all don't check on players after the fact when college is done. Don't hit me with that when players are looking for ways that they can earn if they're not hot NIL guys, and you just pretty much say you got to go figure it out on your own. Don't hit me with that when you tell me, well, you got to be at practice and you can't go and get an engineering degree at Arkansas. Don't do that if we're talking about well-being, because there'll be less players that make it to the NFL coming out of Arkansas, Knoxville, Tuscaloosa, Athens, than it will be go to the NFL. That's what I'm just telling you. Like, it's that simple to me. If you're worried about well-being, should have thought about that, Will, before they took the hundreds of millions of dollars that would come their way.
Yeah, quote Don Draper, that's what the money's for.
Brother.
That's what the money's for the players, too, not even just the TV contract.
Revenue share, right?
Yeah, it's...
you can't
I don't have much
this
sympathy for Hunter Yurachek in Arkansas.
I'm not here for this. Here's what I will also tell you. Build your brand up. You ain't had to worry about this type of stuff. They put you with Georgia at 11 o'clock because they feel like Georgia's going to smack your face off.
That's true. And they put you at 9:15 at Utah because they can fill a window.
Thank you for your contribution, sir. This is what you get in this. You can't open letters.
It's soft. It's SAWFT soft.
Put a cap. Can we capitalize the T at the end too? A little bit more emphasis?
Sure. Absolutely we can. Soft.
Soft.
Yeah.
We ain't trying to hear that, man. Listen, own up to it, earn it, distribute the checks however you need to at that point. Nobody got time for that.
FanDuel has some Game of the Year odds out, Ramon, on lines for big games early in the college football season. Some of these are really interesting. Really interesting. Let's play what they call them, pardon my take. I'll give credit to them. Whose line is it anyway? On what the betting line is for some of these games. Justin versus Ramon, because I'm looking at them.
Wrong on these.
August 29th, week 0, North Carolina, TCU. Across the pond, Ireland.
In Ireland's 2 in a row. Betting line?
UNC, TCU. Who you got? Betting line.
I got TCU -2.
TCU -4.5.
You're both underestimating TCU, the Horned Frogs. How dare you? 6.5.
6.5. Okay.
The line for TCU. Odds makers do not like North Carolina. As was discussed yesterday in the Buck Rising Show, their win total in Vegas is 4.5 this year.
Bill's supposed to be making an NFL junior
I'll go
team.
under.
Supposed to be the 33rd team. You'd go under 4.5?
Yeah.
Bert yesterday said he would put everything on over. Was very confident.
That's why he doesn't bet very much.
He does.
Oh, wow.
I don't know, actually.
Does he not? I was going to say. Let's go... September 6th, 6:30, Louisville at Ole Miss.
Ole Miss -13.5.
Oh, wow.
I wouldn't go that high. I'd go Ole Miss -7.5.
6.5 to Ole Miss on that one.
Okay.
Clemson, LSU in the real Death Valley, the one in Baton Rouge. You're welcome, LSU fans. Don't say I never did anything for you. Justin?
I'm going to go Clemson -4.5.
Clemson minus at Death Valley?
No.
Wait. That's wait. Which Death Valley? Which Death Valley?
I said the real one, the purple one.
The purple one. I hate that they both call it that.
There's only one.
It was at Clemson last year. They're not going to play at Clemson 2 years in a row.
Oh, okay. Let's go LSU -4.5.
You let them off the hook.
Still way off.
Really? LSU -10.
LSU -11.5.
I believe that.
That's also week 2. Well, that's week 1, September 5th.
But I think that game is closer, though.
That's a brand new quarterback making his first career start in Death Valley. Again, the real one. One that's really interesting to me, I got this number wrong when I guessed yesterday hearing this. LSU at Ole Miss on September the 19th at 6:30 p.m. Night game.
Ole Miss -2.5.
Justin?
Give me... I'm going to do Ole Miss -1.5.
Ramon's on it. Ole Miss -2.5 is the number.
Baby.
Which is really interesting, and Josh Pate made the point on his show about this over the weekend. The interesting thing about that is Vegas views Ole Miss and LSU as equals.
Yeah, I do.
Because only getting 2.5 points at home, you're figuring 3 or 4 points for home field advantage. I wonder how much, too, does Ole Miss get the extra home field advantage in that from Vegas because of the extra vitriol and blood alcohol levels that are going to be for
I'm rubbing
fans
my hands right now.
in
like
Oxford,
Eckenbach.
Mississippi. But getting 2.5 points at home means that Vegas views you and the team you're hosting as pretty equal. That's interesting to me because in the preseason rankings, LSU will be way higher than Ole Miss.
Absolutely.
They'll be viewed probably as a top 10 team.
So is LSU a fraud? Lane is.
We'll see. No Tennessee games on here. Otherwise, we do those two. Georgia, Alabama, final game, October 10th. Georgia at Alabama.
Georgia at. I got Georgia -3.
-5.5 Georgia.
Ramon caught fire here at the end. -2.5 Georgia.
Sheesh.
In Tuscaloosa. Home dog, Kalen DeBoer.
Yeah.
Texas, Oklahoma, 6.5 point spread in favor of Texas also, which I find very interesting.
Do you?
Yeah, I think Oklahoma's going to be good. Sean Mateer's back.
Oh, yeah. Washington State transfer.
Mm-hmm.
I put that more of a field goal game.
Okay. 615-737-1045. More reaction to the big news in college sports. Congress is putting its best foot forward in creating meaningful change in college athletics. We'll tell you why you should care coming up next.
9:04, good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Down studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Carolina Hurricanes shut out the Montreal Canadiens 4-0 in Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals as they take a 3-1 series lead. The Hurricanes now one win away from their first trip to the Stanley Cup final since 2006, where they beat the Edmonton Oilers in 7 games to win the Stanley Cup. Game 5 back in Raleigh tomorrow night. Tonight, NBA Western Conference Finals, Game 6 in San Antonio between the Thunder and Spurs. The Thunder lead the series 3-2 and the chance to return to the NBA Finals in consecutive seasons. Tip-off tonight is at 7:30 on NBC. In Titans news yesterday, the team announced they've signed first-round draft pick Keldrick Falk to his rookie contract. The edge rusher out of Auburn, selected 31st overall, was the last member of the Titans' 8 draft picks in 2026 to sign. And some college basketball news yesterday. Vanderbilt point guard Tyler Tanner is officially headed back to college as he's withdrawing his name from the NBA draft. Tanner averaged 19.5 points, 5.1 assists per game last season. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go to the fourth and final hour, 9 a.m. on a beautiful day in Music City. 615-737-1045 is our number. We stream the show live at 1045 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch, at Ramon and Will on Twitter. This morning, we had the draft of the biggest busts in sports at Ramon and Will, at Ramon Foster, where you've just retweeted this. We have the graphic, and then in the replies, we have the polls where you can vote on who had the best team. That is, of course, in the graphic. Justin with Jamarcus Russell, Anthony Bennett, Matt Leinart, and Kevin Dodd. Ramon going Zach Wilson, Isaiah Wilson, Johnny Manziel, Tate Martell. And I went Ryan Leaf, Greg Oden, Trey Lance, and Darko Milicic for our biggest busts teams. Yeah, you can vote on who put together the worst team. Meaning who put together the biggest group of busts at Ramon and Will. Twitter is like really downgraded how you get votes on polls. Not many of you voted on this yet.
Yeah, no, not at all.
I don't think Twitter pushes that into the algorithm as much as it used to.
It's fascinating how it is, but I'm leading right now, and I feel very good about it
We've had more comments about the draft than we've had actually votes.
It's odd.
That's
very
weird.
odd. Very odd.
Weird little setup they got going on right now. That's some good submissions, too, on here.
Maybe I should repost it, and we'll get some more votes.
Sure.
Yeah, ain't no problem, Brother Hawk. Ain't no problem, whatever you want to do. Robert Gallery is top of that list for me, too.
Okay.
I just remember looking up to what he was coming out. The long, stringy black hair that he had at the time, how big of an athlete he was coming out to. And, like, he wasn't necessarily a bust because he played numerous amounts of years, but he did not, like, live up to the hype at all. I had a very interesting conversation with a good friend of mine because I was speaking about the Jadeveon Clowney bust conversation. And we did it, if I'm not mistaken, a few years back, and his name came up, and I was like, he was a bust, and I knew somebody that played with him. It was like, bro, like adamantly, like vehemently, like defending him. And I was just like, okay, why? It's like, this dude played for this amount of years, did this on the second contract. But I'm like, as far as like what he was expected to do, and a lot of people, well, I've seen conversation about what got Jadeveon Clowney to number one.
Mm-hmm.
It was the one hit against Michigan. I'm as far as publicity go and marketing go, I don't know. Has there ever been one play? Yeah, it is. Williams from Alabama, the young wide receiver. Ryan Williams.
Spin move on Georgia.
He's catapulted to that level.
Similar. Honestly.
Similar. If he came out in that year, yeah, it'd definitely take him to that level.
That's a good point.
That, to me, was the hype behind Jadeveon Clowney. And it's kind of, I don't want to say it set him up, but that image is hard to take off anybody's mind. Like, you bring up Clowney, they bring up that play.
One of the hardest hits ever.
But have you heard people bring up how it happened? Like, his chin strap wasn't buckled up. And, like, there's been people break that play down. Like, it wasn't that big of a hit. I was like, yeah, it kind of was. That image lasts forever in college football highlights.
Yesterday, Senators Ted Cruz and Maria Cantwell agreed on bipartisan legislation that would usher in sweeping reform to college sports. The Protect College Sports Act is a major story because it is Congress's best chance at changing college athletics. That being said, it's still not a good chance. And it's probably not going to pass, but it has by far the best chance of passing of anything Congress has tried to do in changing college athletics. The positives, an agent registry that would limit fees to 5%, the allowance of the pooling of media rights, barring coaches from leaving their team before the season ends, 5-year eligibility rule for college athletes, prohibiting professional players from participating in college athletics, and antitrust protections around transfers, eligibility, and the compensation cap, while also giving the College Sports Commission the ability to enforce its rules. You would have one transfer, and that's it. A lot of positive changes, Ramon, that college coaches want. But needing 75% of the sport, of sports, to pull together media rights and be exempt from the Sports Broadcasting Act, be covered under the Sports Broadcasting Act, that is the kicking point here. That's the poison pill that's going to probably make this not pass. Plus, coupled with the fact that they've got till August, then it's midterms, and we might have totally new senators voting on this come January.
Who's to enforce the guidelines, though, too, for these minimum 104 teams? Like, not every division, not every conference is going to want to operate under the same, rules and guidelines as well. Some teams won't be able to operate under those guidelines, too. And the other part about this protection is, for the SEC and the Big Ten, is comical that these two conferences need all of these other smaller schools. If we can, just highlight what has to happen. The issue is this, though. Those bigger conferences are just going to come and poach away from those smaller schools that they're supposed to be collectively bargaining with. That's to me is the confusing part about trying to put all of this under one umbrella as well, is you guys steal from us, you big conferences, and now you want to go in business with us? Like, it's not been many times in the NFL. I can remember one off top where a wide receiver negotiated publicly against another team. And that, to me, Emmanuel Sanders, when I think he had a deal done with the Steelers, and I'm probably off on how it went, but I thought was settled in on the contract with either the Steelers or somebody else. And then next thing you know, Denver came in with a bigger deal than they announced that one. I feel like he had two announcements right before he went to Denver and kind of leveraged it. It might have been Kansas City versus Denver in that conversation. But it's those type of situations where it become problematic for smaller schools. Those schools are supposed to be in the same boat now with the big conferences. And all they're doing at this point is just taking every elite player that they have. And I don't care. I mean, look at what North Texas has done with North Texas, all the players that has gone to Oklahoma State right now. How are they supposed to be on the same umbrella if you're robbing me? Like, there's a lot that has to be cleaned up with this. And it seems better to go with two separate leagues than it is to put 104 under one. It may end up being a better payoff for this one because there's no cohesion in this. Absolutely none.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. A lot of this I like. Some of it is unrealistic. The Super League rule part of it will mean the SEC and Big Ten will fight against it and they won't want it, although the coaches, again, will want some of the rules and regulations in this that make sense. Dope. I think you should care about this because it is an important first step with some positives that are realistic to get to what the ultimate step is going to have to be, which I think is probably a year from now when you get the second version of this. Because, again, you're going to have totally new senators and House of Representatives in positions of power to vote on this next time around. The clock is running out before midterms.
The other part is, as far as the agent side of this go, what about, are guys going to be grandfathered in? What if some of these non-certified charging players 20%, as far as talent agent fees go, are some of the biggest names in college sports? So, too, representing these guys like Uncle and Auntie.
Who have contracts, right?
Yeah.
That are binding.
They have binding contracts.
It's a great question.
There's a lot to clean up, but I like everything else in this, good, except for the 114 need.
Well, it's too much to clean up by August.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's the problem. I'm totally agreeing with you.
Yeah, no.
That there are more questions than answers that come out of this, to be honest with you. It's an over 100-page document, the full proposal. Greg Sankey was asked about it yesterday and on Feinbaum and said he wasn't going to comment, and then he did comment.
Yeah, he commented.
Of just, we appreciate their efforts. We'll conduct a thorough review, yada, yada, yada. It's It's a lot. It's a lot to sort through.
I feel like the more Sankey speaks, the more and more he becomes a villain in this. And I don't know if he cares or if it's actually that important with what he's saying as representative of the SEC. It just seems to me the way some are painting him as if, like, you're out of touch with this. I was reading another article yesterday that pretty much said, the SEC is upset because of the one thing that's changed. There's one thing I looked at, too, when the NIL came out. It's evened up the playing field. It's leveled it out as much as it possibly could have. The money has taken these Southeastern athletes and sent them up to the Big Ten. Mm-hmm. They've gone out to the West Coast. We spoke about it last week about what baseball is transitioning out to again. West Coast teams are becoming very good again. And as many players wanted to come to the SEC when it was fire hot, when they had a little bit more control, it's not happening as much because money keeps you home or money takes you away from your region as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Tough spot to be in when it comes down to college sports. And again, what's called in the last part of this conversation is the parents of athletes that are in the mix of this too. Families that don't have any understanding of what this money is, what these contracts look like, how much is the agent charging you. It's a mess is what it is.
Total mess. Well put. Coming up, Easton Freeze joins us. We'll talk some Titans. Haven't done that as much this morning through the college sports news and through the draft that we did. What is Easton watching for when the Titans take the practice field again? What did he learn so far through an OTA practice that was open to the media? We'll dive into that next. Ramon Will on 104.5 The Zone. An exciting morning here on the program in hour number 4. Been a fun, fast show with Titans radio analyst Ramon Foster. I'm Will Bowling. Pleased to be joined by Easton Freeze, our good friend from A to Z Sports. What's up, Easton? How we doing?
What's going on, fellas? Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. We had an OTA practice. We saw football played on the grass of the Vanderbilt Health Football Center, which I'm yet to slip up on, very shockingly to everyone's surprise, so far on May 28th. Your biggest takeaway, Easton, from OTA practice 1 was what?
My brain immediately goes to Carnell Tate. It's easy to say Carnell Tate because he was the first pick of the draft class. All eyes were on him. We had not seen him really do football things yet because the draftees were not involved in rookie minicamp a couple of weeks ago, but he definitely passed the eye test. He looks the part, which is a necessary first step for a guy taken that highly. He's just as build, everything checks out upon first glance. He is a well-built receiver with great length, a great catch radius, just thermonuclear hands, absolutely impenetrable. He is a strider. He's maybe a glider is the better word for it. He's smooth in everything that he does. He seems to be polished from a technical standpoint. There's just not a lot of things you can look at him and poke holes in. And I like to use the grandma test this time of year for the eye test, kind of like if I brought my grandma with me to Titans practice and pointed her in the direction of the receivers and asked her to pick the best one, could she? And I think the answer on that day was yes. She'd be like, it's that guy at number 4, whoever he is.
I like that.
The grandma
that
test.
Makes
We
so
also,
much
Ramon,
sense.
we are now challenging you. You're going to have to work thermonuclear hands into a Titans radio broadcast this year when Carnell Tate makes a good catch.
Thermonuclear. That was damn good right there, Easton. Just so you know, that's taken.
Thermonuclear. It's great.
Sure, why not?
At right guard, I know Robert Saleh answered the question about how do you learn competition without pads on. The short answer being competition won't really start there until pads are on, and Brian Dable and the linemen themselves have echoed a lot of these sentiments. Where is your concern level right now on the inexperience of the question marks, Easton, in the interior of the Titans offensive line?
Yeah, until we see something from them, my concern is, it's at a 3 or a 4 out of 5. I am concerned about the interior of this offensive line. I don't think you could be unconcerned. Now, the Titans seem to have confidence in what they've put together, and they've got a lot of guys on this roster who I am intrigued by, but very few guys that I am confident in, if that makes sense. So, I'm curious what Jackson Slater could be as a starter. I'm curious what Pat Coogan and Fernando Carmona could be as NFL starters eventually. I am curious whether or not Austin Sloatman is going to be as billed as kind of that reliable veteran, lower ceiling but high floor kind of center plug-and-play guy that the Titans seem to think that he is. I don't think that they're bad players. There's just nobody that I feel comfortable hanging my hat on right now. And you're right, the competition can't start yet, but I wrote at atozsports.com earlier this week about how I think the competition at those 2 interior spots up for grabs at center and at right guard, and Ramon can speak to this, it's such a tight competition. I think the next couple of weeks, the next month or so, is really important for all of the non-veterans in those rooms. Because right now I think the reliable, safe answers are, okay, Austin Sloatman's a veteran at center and Cordell Volson's the veteran at right guard, but I would prefer, and I think the Titans would prefer, for one of these younger, maybe higher upside guys to prove themselves. And just because you can't prove yourself with the pads on this time of year doesn't mean you can't make yourself trustworthy in the meeting room, especially for a position like center where there's such a cerebral element to the job description. Somebody that is competing for that role, starting now, needs to prove to the coaching staff and to his teammates, you can trust me to handle understanding what we see and being the quarterback of this unit and helping the actual quarterback not get killed back there. And that starts right now.
It does. We're joined by Easton Freeze, A to Z this morning. Easton, when you look at this roster as well, man, and what OTAs can provide to you, I would go 4 absolutely safe wide receivers on this team. And possible is 5. And the 5th one is one I want to ask you about. What does Alec Ayumena have to do to put himself in that conversation as well? Because KJ Osborne is here. He's got other competition as well that he's got to kind of sift through what his next steps are going to be. I'm not saying he's going to get cut or nothing like that, but the establishment of what you are, like Chim has a all-pro underneath his belt. What does Alec need to do, man, to get into that conversation with the rest of those guys?
Yeah, that's really interesting to me that you put it that way, because to me, Alec is extremely safe. Now, granted, this is coming from the guy who's kind of been the conductor of the Alec hype train. I liked him a lot coming out, and I was really pleased with the Titans getting the value that they did on him. I think last year, people have gotten too down on what Alec was last year. He was a day 1 starter as a 4th-round rookie. He was somebody that I think was just a textbook example of a rookie asked to do too much too quickly, and he hit the classic rookie wall. Like, I don't think last year was a disappointment for him by any means. I think it's the order. Like, if you flip the order of the season, where he looks like he did down the stretch for the first 8 weeks, and then it looks like he did in the first 8 weeks down the stretch, I think we're all talking about Alec very differently today, and that's, I think, just not fair. It's not an accurate way to view his season. The reason why I think more highly of his role in this offense right now than it seems like anybody else does, except maybe Robert Saleh, by the way, who I will point out brought up Alec to praise him unprompted last week during his press conference. He mentioned some guys that we know to be starters on this team, and also threw Alec's name in there in terms of guys that are impressive this time of year. And by the way, anyone I've talked to behind the scenes about him is at least intrigued by what he's going to look like this August with the pads on, because it sounds like he's kind of gone through a training transformation. And does that translate to being a good receiver? Not necessarily, but let's see it, because people seem to be interested in what. The reason I'm interested in it is because he's a bigger body guy. Like, he's got the frame to have a lot of muscle and a lot of strength, and to use that strength. One of the biggest criticisms with him is, hey, get on the field and then play as big as you are. And he absolutely needs to do a better job of that. So I'm curious to see if he translates that strength and that size more efficiently this year. The bottom line for me is, I think he plays a bigger role on this offense because of his skill set. And this is a team that has a much better, more well-rounded group in terms of different skill sets. Like, they've got some guys that are slot winners. They've now got a guy in Carnell Tate who is a man beater who can be a boundary receiver. But they don't have a deep group of guys that are true boundary threats in terms of size and in terms of catch point ability. And Alec is one of those guys. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's rotating as the 2nd or 3rd option consistently on the boundary, and you need that guy on the field in 11 personnel.
Yes, you do. How soon do you think we'll consistently see Anthony Hill Jr. with what you saw last week as well? We know what the pedigree is, but I got a feeling Cody Barton or anybody else is not going to give up their reps just because he was a high 2nd-round draft pick.
Yeah, I'm glad you and I see this one the same way, because I'm not trying to, rain on the Anthony Hill parade. I just think we got to pump the brakes a little bit. Okay, linebacker is a position we are always talking about taking more time to translate from college to the NFL than most other positions. And the reality behind that, we could spend an hour talking about how it's kind of 2 different positions in college and in the NFL because of the difference in the hashes and because of the difference in general play styles. You are being asked to do mostly different things. And so that there's a learning curve there. I think Anthony Hill is a very smart guy. By all accounts, he's somebody that is capable of being a vocal leader, capable of seeing the game at a high level. And if he's going to be the Mike linebacker for this team like he was at Texas, he's going to need to do those things. Robert Saleh is a defensive leader who I think is going to lean pretty heavily on the cerebral ability of his Mike linebacker. Somebody, he again, it's a trust thing, a lot like the center position. Do I, Robert Saleh, trust you to quarterback this defense? And I think that Anthony Hill can get there, but is that a week 1 thing? I don't think so. I think Cody Barton, being the wily vet at this point in that room, having worked in a similar defense to this before, I think that he's going to get the nod until the Titans are really sure with Anthony Hill. And also, I don't think they want to run him out there and stunt his growth if they don't need to. I think Cody Barton was disappointing last year on the whole, but was he unplayable? I don't think that he was unplayable, and I think somebody like Robert Saleh is going to come in and say, I can get better out of this guy.
Easton Freeze of A to Z Sports, our guest this morning on Ramon and Will. You wrote about this at AtoZSports.com about how the Josh Jacobs arrest creates a need for a running back in Green Bay. The Titans have a running back on the end of a rookie deal in Tajay Spears, who's got some added competition with Nick Singleton being drafted. Does it make sense for the Titans to pick up the phone if they're called by Green Bay to have conversations about Tajay Spears if Josh Jacobs' arrest and some of the awful details of that creates a need for them at running back?
Yeah, I think this does make sense, mainly because of where the Titans are with this running back room. There's just a lot of unanswered questions because this is a room in flux. The top two guys are on expiring deals, and I think if you asked people on the street today, the consensus would be that neither of them will be back next year. Pollard is largely an age thing, and Spears is largely a consistency and health thing. So at this point, I would be surprised if those are the guys for this team next year. And so who are the guys for this team next year? They've built out this room to be, behind Tony Pollard, really 4 deep in guys you have questions about. With Spears, everyone agrees he's the 2, but how available is he going to be? We have to see. They bring in Michael Carter, who is a solid guy, right? Was drafted as a rookie to the Jets when Saleh was there, and so he brought him in for a reason. 2 drafts ago, you'd take a day 3 guy in Khalil Mullings, whose rookie year was marred by injuries, but in the garbage time of the season when he did get out there, he showed me enough to at least be interested in what he might look like this year if he's healthy. And then this year you draft a day 3 guy in Nick Singleton, who everyone's really excited about because he had a really impressive, especially early on in his career at Penn State. He was somebody that looked like he was going to be a stud on Sundays. And so it's all about where the Titans are with this room. And I don't know where they are with this room. How confident are they that Tajay Spears can be the number 2 and be healthy? How bullish are they on Nick Singleton to kind of step into that role? Because again, if Pollard and Spears are both gone, Singleton's really the only guy that I think you can circle right now is like, well, maybe he's the future of this room. I don't think Khalil Mullings is in that position. I mean, right now, Khalil Mullings is in a position to be cut, if anything, which is kind of wild and unfair to him, but that's what they've done. They've buried him on this depth chart. Michael Carter, is he just a body for camp? Is he somebody that Saleh likes and thinks that he can trust? Does he want him around for special teams? Those are all fair questions. So if the Packers are desperate, the 2 guys that I kind of have circled as, I'd listen, is Tajay Spears. If you are expecting to get nothing for him when he walks in a couple of months, then maybe a mid-day 3 pick is enough if you are bullish enough on Singleton and want answers on him. And then Khalil Mullings is not a guy that I think would get a full draft pick by any means, but could you swap him for a guy that is also kind of in a cuttable position on the Packers that you have some interest in? I think back to last summer when the Titans went and grabbed Dorian Mousey, the guy that is now being talked about in the top 3 or 4 linebackers on this team, and Robert Saleh bringing up his name unprompted. So Mike Borgonzi is want to and has a recent history of finding some guys that are, waiver claim caliber players that can come in and be valuable players for this team, and I wouldn't be surprised by that.
Man, Easton, how soon do we start the clock on the Jeffrey Simmons signing at some point? Like, I have a feeling it has to get done, but it will get done. But when are we going to, start looking at that situation and what that number is going to look like? Because you know how it goes in negotiating. The longer you wait, the higher that number goes up.
You're right about that. I do think that the timeline on this is going to be dictated by the Simmons side of the negotiation. Oh. Because the Titans don't need, if Simmons is happy, the Titans are happy right now. This is purely does Simmons have any money left on his contract? And from a guaranteed standpoint, that well has run dry. And so it's time to re-up him. And I think it does get done. I wouldn't be surprised if that comes before the season begins, or maybe like right as the season begins. Maybe it's a similar timeline to the Amani Hooker contract we saw last summer. Mm-hmm. That would make a lot of sense to me. What's more interesting to me than the timing of it is the actual number, because if you pull up the league-wide picture of defensive tackle contracts right now, there is a weird no man's land between Chris Jones and everybody else. There's a big fat gap between number 1 and number 2, and number 2 through number 10 are all kind of bunched up right there. So does Simmons fall squarely in between? And does he establish a new middle class? Can you argue right now that Simmons is a more valuable player than Chris Jones is? Based on last year, you can argue that. So does he shatter the market? I don't know. I think I think the Chris Jones contract has the Titans in a weird spot with the Simmons contract.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
And what's fascinating is Mike Borgonzi's lived in that building to negotiate that contract.
That's true. That's right.
That's a good point. Easton Freeze joining us this morning, A to Z Sports. Give him a follow on Twitter. Of course, you read his work as well at atozsports.com. Always appreciate you, sir. Thanks for stopping by.
Appreciate it, E.
Always fun, guys. See you next time.
Yes, sir. Easton Freeze with us here this morning talking Titans.
I hope American Airlines handle his wife's situation too. He tweeted about them sitting on the tarmac, I think, for like 12 plus hours.
Oh, no.
I don't know if they were on the tarmac, but they had a crazy delay. And he added, I think, American Airlines about that.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I don't blame him, man. That is a tough life to live right there, waiting in the airport with small children, if I'm not mistaken.
Airport and even just being on the tarmac, too, in a non-air conditioned plane when they don't turn on the AC.
Bro.
That's the worst.
Yeah, I know they're first world problems, but, man, you don't expect that to be an issue. At least compensate me or give me an answer as to why we're sitting here wasting away, basically. But back to the football conversation, Easton brings up good points on the Jeffrey side of things. When you have a career year the way Jeffrey Simmons did, you become the most respected, I think, person inside of that building, the longest tenure, one of the longest tenure. Like, this is the next phase for him. Even if he is happy, the market suggests that he should get a bump in pay. And not just that, but you got a quarterback that's on a rookie deal right now. And also, and I said in our chat that Mario brings up, both Peter Skoronski and Jeffrey Simmons, I think, get deals going into this upcoming season.
I think you could do them both this offseason before the season starts.
You could.
Yeah. Would make a lot of sense.
Peter goes first, I think. In my personal, I think Peter goes first, and Jeffrey Simmons end up being the fireworks of it all to cap off the offseason.
They're both in pretty similar positions right now. They both have 2 years left on their deals.
Yeah, for sure.
Jeff obviously has already gotten his big deal. Peter's waiting for his, and the 50-year option is kind of his. And perhaps you could argue that Peter Skoronski is a bit more motivated to get his payday because he's not had one at all yet. So, yeah, I think you could certainly say his would most likely come first. But, I mean, they still have so much money to spend. The Titans do.
They do.
Pay your people.
And I think they will. I don't think it's just a matter of, like Easton said, when. When does it happen? I'd much rather be done by mini camp if I'm either one of those guys. Give me a little extra coin and go to Cabo if I want to, and not have to worry about getting an extra Mai Tai.
Extra Mai Tai?
I don't think they have to worry about that anyway.
I've been thinking so much about the honeymoon trip coming up in a few weeks and just Mai Tais and pina coladas and strawberry daiquiris. Been floating around in my brain.
You can smell the sea water right now, can't you? I know you can. I know you can. You should.
615-737-1045, the final call for phone calls as we hit headlines to wrap up the show next. Wrapping up the show here on Ramon and Will. Wrapping up your Thursday. Tomorrow morning, we will be joined by our regular Friday guests, Brent Hubbs and Ron Slay. At Ramon and Will, you can vote there on the Twitter poll for the best bust draft. Been a good show.
Fast moving show, man. We got going early, man. Shout out to the NCAA for giving us all this good content. I got a feeling, because we're setting up next week's show in general right now, there's going to be, what I was told, even more fireworks to come.
Fantastic.
Over the next few days.
Love that. Love that.
How much more can they do with this?
It's a good question. They could pass it. That'd be good.
That'd be nice.
For a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
Thunder and Spurs tonight, Game 6 in the NBA. San Antonio looking to stave off elimination in front of what Charles Barkley calls a bunch of big old women. Spurs are 3.5-point favorites.
I believe that.
I love his whole thing with Texas.
Yeah.
From Galveston, that dirty water. To the big old women that he talks about in San Antonio.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no. Terrible.
Yeah, he's an electric factory.
He's so good. I love watching Charles, though, again, because Ernie just gets out the way. Chuck can't wait to get his points across, and Shaq just looks at him like, I think they're real good friends. I know his mom, Shaq's mom and Charles' mom are really good friends. But their relationship is super unique, and throwing Draymond in there does nothing but throw gasoline on the fire.
It's good.
Yeah, it is. It's real good.
7:30 tonight on NBC and Peacock. So Mike Tirico on the call. I've liked NBC's coverage of everything I've watched so far.
It's been real good.
It's done a good job.
I've enjoyed it.
I think NBC is the best in terms of just their overall presentation and the graphics and the music. And Tirico is A+, top tier broadcaster. I just think they do a great job. Overall.
It's not been too much. Like, they've hit the storylines and gone on about it. One of the cooler parts as well with the NBA broadcast on NBC is they got a lot of good former players that are giving breakdowns as well on the game, on the sport. Watching Reggie Miller be a part of this broadcast with Tirico has been super unique, but not just that. The halftime crew with Hall of Famers and future Hall of Famers, Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, and Carmelo Anthony, man. Those three dudes I didn't think were going to mesh this well, but they are. It's been phenomenal to watch it. And D-Wade being a part of these broadcasts too, Dwayne Wade. NBA's done a good job with the marketing. I got to give it to him on that one.
They are. Absolutely. So that's tonight. The big thing happening.
Big test for Wemby tonight.
In the Western Conference.
This is a huge test for Wemby. Like, getting eliminated 3-2, 4-2 ain't it's not bad, but I think it's important for him to try to push this to Game 7 to show OKC, like, you guys have had your fun. Next year, I'm going to go get some more friends, and I'm going to show you how we do this thing as Spurs. And just the overall storylines that's been chasing them this year, too. After Game 2 where they got blown out, they told the story about how Greg Popovich came into the locker room, closed the doors, trainers, coaching staff, all the players was there, and pretty much just lit them on fire about this is not how we play as Spurs. And I think, of course, when you pop, you get that type of access, that type of respect as well. And to see their response, I'm hoping it's the same response we get tonight, because that series has been good. OKC did their thing last time, but this one has been a real good series. And I see in our group chat right now, we got to stop the doggone flopping with SGA. I get it. It's his game. I would suggest ways to defend it, but I ain't got no ways to defend that one. He's just good at it, and he's the MVP. He's going to get favored no matter what, the same way Tom Brady did in the NFL.
That's up to the refs, though.
Refs are humans.
Yeah, but they got to – you can tell he's flopping. Let's be real. It doesn't take an expert to see that.
It's a great conversation in the show, because the same thing goes for Tom Brady in the NFL. Brady gets touched, and there was a flag coming down.
The tuck rule.
The tuck rule, all of it. I'm talking about in game after the tuck rule. Like, Brady got hit hard. A flag was dropped on the ground. Other quarterbacks didn't get that type of love. Like, young quarterbacks or not as established guys, like Patrick Mahomes gets it a little bit more. Josh Allen doesn't as much, but like, when you're the MVP, you get favor.
Yep. I'd like to see a little bit more of De'Aaron Fox tonight.
He bad ankles, man.
Yep. He had one game to get his rust off. You got to show up tonight.
Oh, yeah, it's elimination. Absolutely.
You got to show up tonight.
If you don't, your season's over. It's 1-2-3 Cancun.
1-2-3 Cancun. Or Cabo, whichever one they choose to go to.
Number 1 seed Yannick Sinner has lost this morning in the French Open.
That's crazy.
In the heat. Well, we got tennis talk for you on the way out. He was on a 30-match winning streak dating back to February. Odds were overwhelming that he would complete a career Grand Slam by winning the only big title missing. With Carlos Alcaraz out with an injured right wrist and not playing. Heat, a big thing today. Apparently it was like 90 degrees and he was cramping and couldn't do it.
Where is this being held at? I'm not even sure.
France.
Yeah, France.
Roland Garros.
I didn't realize it was that hot over there.
It is right now.
Sinner's been on a tear.
He has.
He's
been torn out of the French Open.
Hydration is key, baby.
By Juan Manuel Cerundolo.
I stay home and watch a little bit of that in the next few hours, man.
Former Vol Adam Walton with a big win over Medvedev yesterday in the French Open. Yeah, huge upset.
In tennis like that.
Tennessee tennis was legit around the time I was there. Men's tennis was our best sport around the time I left. I think they were a Final Four team. If they weren't Final Four, they were right on the doorstep of it.
Well, look how far we've
The
come.
women have made the Final Four too recently. They're not good this year.
Look how far we've come, man.
And that was Talking Tennis. Back at it tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for your Friday. That'll feel a little bit like a Thursday because of a 4-day week. So, just like that, we are through with your Thursday. The Buck Rising Show has you covered up next. Brent Hubbs and Ron Slay coming up tomorrow. We will talk to you then.
But remember at all times, your Twitter fingers and your mic is always hot.